This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, Rich?
Not much, man. Just sitting here chilling. We were getting into a little conversation before the show started.
Yeah.
And friend of the show, who shall remain nameless, those of you guys that were here on a live stream will know exactly what I'm talking about, was trying to convince me to watch NXT Battleground and review it. However, I did not get a chance to watch the full show.
Right.
So I couldn't do that, but I did see a couple clips that were going around, and one of them was with Sexy Red, Lola Vice, and an interviewer, a blonde interviewer lady who I don't know her name.
Yes, I don't know her name. Not yet anyway, but I should have said that. I didn't mean like that, but you know, like blonde interviewer NXT or in WWE, like they it's a cycle.
This could be anybody.
Right, like was Kathy Kelly was one of them. I think then before that was Renee, and Renee was prototype, and ever since they've been trying to make a new
Mackenzie Mitchell,
Renee.
I think.
And
I don't think it was Mackenzie Mitchell.
I couldn't tell you, but like that. Moving on to the point we were talking about before we start recording. So like if that blonde lady, given like what happened with Sexy Red say, hey, I'm twerking Lola Vice, she's also twerking, and a white blonde interview lady. Like, you turn around and it's time for you to bend that ass over. And it's like, hey, she did it. And it's like, if she wants to, she can get herself a nice little check. Because, like, that, I'm sure that's not in her job description, is to, in fact, you know, like that coochie. I don't think so. I don't quite think
that
so.
Thing up, you know, that was not on the run sheet.
Yeah. Speaking of Sexy Red on NXT, like, you know, I'm sure you saw the video when she's singing Shawn Michaels' Sexy Boy, and then she pans over and Shawn's sitting next to her in the car. And then my favorite part was when Triple H retweeted and said, thank God he didn't start twerking. And in my mind, I think Triple H thinking like, when I see you sitting next to her, and I believe you see two bad bitches.
There was I think there was another quote where it says some shit like this. Sean said something like, this might have been a different story. Like, they was asking how you feel being around Sexy Red. He said this might have been like a different story 30 years ago. And I was like, 30 years ago, Shawn Michaels would have tried to dip his finger in the sugar bowl, you know?
Man. It been look, especially given who Brett ended up marrying, they've been crazy. He's been on there talking about, you've been having some sexy days. That would have been insane. But amazing. Look, man. Hold on. King of North, James reviewing white women twerking. God damn it, I can't get a break on here. This will not stand. I'm gonna start banning people out of this bitch. They keep this up.
Say a young lady, you know, she, you know, everybody got to start somewhere, you know, she wasn't,
everybody got, you know, humble beginnings. That's what you going on with?
You know, from home beginnings, you know, she got to find her own rhythm. You know, they weren't, to be fair, they were not playing any music. So I imagine that was kind of a struggle, for it.
Wait,
there wasn't even that courage.
Are you sure that playing music would have helped? It may have been worse.
I don't know. We need the twerkers that listen to One Nation Radio. I'm sure there's some person that engages in the twerking that is a One Nation Radio listener that has professional level light skill and all that. Tell us, write into the show, send an email, come to the Twitch live stream, and let us know.
One of these dudes better not send me no troll ass email with no bullshit. Okay, if you are a male listener of One Nation Radio that is a part of the twerk team, cool. Keep it to yourself. I don't care. Okay, we're not talking to you. I wish Rich never even said this. Even bring this whole thing to discussion. But now that it's out there, I just want to make sure that we qualify this, so there's no misunderstandings or miscommunications. Do not, King of the North, Brewhaven, Zakumaki, Zakupo, especially Zakupo, because I know fucking Zakupo in person. Don't you dare.
Black Saber Jr.
Tennessee
Sooner.
Don't you fucking dare send us an email about how you throwing ass in a circle. Don't know, don't care. Happy for you. Don't want to know though.
Oh man. Anyway, so if you guys are on the Twitch stream, if you're catching this later, you will see the fine designs that both James and I are wearing. I believe the comment section was saying twinsies. Both have the One Nation Radio shirts on, pyramid design. I am rocking the purple variety. James, I believe, has the black one.
Yes, the faded black.
And I got the orange on our hat. So make sure you visit onelifetimeworldwide.com and get your order in. Also, on behalf of Tunnel Talk and Trish and Sarah, they're going to be doing something really cool. So they're going to be joining Martin from the Poison Rana Pod for an hour of his 12-hour live stream raising money for the Maddie Cusack Foundation on the 29th. That's running between 3 p.m. and 3 a.m. British Standard Time, or 10 a.m. through 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So wherever you are in the world, you'll probably be able to, find that. Maddie, she was a pro footballer in the women's championship for Sheffield United, who we sadly lost last year. The foundation aims to keep Maddie's legacy alive by helping to create opportunities for young girls and women, encouraging them to participate in a supportive footballing environment that nurtures their playing skills and personal well-being. There's going to be a lot of great guests on there. You're going to see people from Post Wrestling, PW Torch, and also Tunnel Talk and Trish and Sarah. So they are, I believe, raising money for the cause, and there is a link that you will follow once you get in said stream and all that. So I just wanted to shout that out real quick. I was listening to that. I was like, anything I can do to help on that and, kind of publicize that a little more. I figure I'd let the nation folks know. So, yeah, man, another week, another, story in the world of Caitlin Clark. Man, all I wanted to do was become a fan of a basketball player. I found pretty entertaining, James. That's all I wanted.
I'm about this close. She's not the free space, because the free space in the culture wars is Donald Trump, but she's this close to in the race grifter war bingo card. OJ Simpson's already on there. Caitlin Clark's gonna be a tile on that fucking thing. On that 5x5, she's gonna be won it by the time the year's out. She's quickly trending that way. Man, I feel like this is such a non-story outside of the part where she's been a lightning rod, or the stuff from people talking about her has been the discourse more than her actually. And I don't know, what are your takes on this in general? Now I'll just work off whatever you have to say.
So Caitlin Clark did not make Team USA.
Right.
So that is obviously the United States women's basketball team for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a big thing because, you know, I thought she would make it, but she didn't. And I thought of a lot of, you know, reasons why she would make it.
Right. Right.
But,
I'll let you go in a second, but I didn't know if she was going to make one or the other, but like if she had made it, that wouldn't surprise me for the reasons you're about to say, I imagine. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, and I don't know, you mentioned the culture war thing, and I'm like, yo, I feel really awkward right now because, like, I'm sharing some real estate with people I normally would never get down with or whatever, simply because, A, I like the player, I feel like I'm using my brain, and I'm not engaging in any of the foolishness that they are, where they're using it as a proxy to talk about how much they hate women, how much they hate the WNBA, how much...
And bullshit like reverse racism.
Yeah, like... I feel like there are
I'm on a team that has 3 white women on it, at least.
It's like it's not often that I find myself on the same side as Jason Whitlock. It's not often that I find myself, you know, sharing space with Dave Portnoy in outkick coverage and several other motherfuckers like that. It was like, you know, Emmanuel Aiko and shit. Like, I'm like, hold on, man. This is not me. Like, this is why I feel like nuance is needed. Because, like, I think people have gone so far in every relative direction for this. It's largely insane. Like, just when you think, I don't know. Personally, I think she should have been on the team just for, like, history. For one, how many times are you ever going to get Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark as teammates anywhere at the same time? And you do it for the photo op for the history of time. That's just one small reason I thought of. But, you know, I think it's a lot of small thinking. Like, people that have been, you know, come out very opposed to this, I think it's just small thinking. Like, they're not, like, they'd almost rather take the stairs, you know, by themselves. I came up with the analogy, like, this thing is like, you know, they're living on the 4th floor, right? They just went grocery shopping and they had $300-400 in orders, and they were like, we're going to make one trip carrying it up the stairs. Are we going to use this elevator that will allow us to bring everything up there at once and, you know, ease strain on ourselves and also give us a quick path to where we want to get to, which is ultimately, you want the game to explode. You want, you know, the rights, you know, everything with the money to explode.
As many eyes on it as possible to make it more attractive to advertisers and therefore more money. And
raise the profile of the league. It's like, there's a path that's being offered, but they're like, no, we insist on taking the stairs at every, you know, and when we get to the top of those stairs, we are all going to be better for it. Like, and I just don't get it. Like, Paul Pierce had a great point when he was like, you know, he just said something like, this is bigger than the game of basketball itself or whatever. Like, this is not strictly about, hey, who's the very best player that needs to be in this situation? Because, like, a lot of weird reporting came out on this. I believe it was Christine Brennan, and she, you know, there were veteran players that spoke on the condition of anonymity, and you know, she was reporting that, you know, the players thought that the fans would be mad at her lack of playing time, but like, she's not playing now, so like, what are we doing? Like, they invented an entire scenario and outcome and like use it for their own confirmation bias. You got to get them in the building first, fool. Like, what are we doing? Like you're worried about that? It was like, I don't understand it. Like, you know, Caitlin, for her part, of course, you know, she's media trained. She gives the media trained answer, completely diffuses the situation. It makes everybody that's, you know, very, very serious about it almost be like, all right, we could have just waited and listened to her thoughts on it, whatever. And, you know, she takes the gas off the pedal. Like, she's already a pro at this shit. Then her coach publicly contradicts her, which is like, what are you doing? Like, you know, and it reveals her private combos that, you know, Caitlin had with her, where she's talking about, you know, how we expect the athlete to respond. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna make them regret it. No, they woke up a monster, blah, blah, blah. And what does Caitlyn do that same day? She drops 30 on the Mystics or whatever in the biggest WNBA game in 17 years, 20,000 people there, double the amount the Chicago Sky had the night before. And I'm just like, why would you reveal like what your player is saying to you privately, or not take the time to get a consistent message out from both sides? Like, it just makes Caitlyn look like she's fake, like, and she's saying all this stuff in public, and then like the coach is like, yeah, I'm just, it's just another thing. Like, I think my biggest problem though, James, is like people wanting to make this about 100% like merit, when Olympic teams have been picked or not picked on some of the following, circumstances and scenarios, like availability, injury availability, legend status, collegiate status, public visibility after an HIV diagnosis, history with the coach, the ability to get along with the other players, or because the star either wanted you or didn't want you on the team. Like, what are we doing? Like I saw WNBA analysts getting on TV, embarrassing themselves, just telling us what, telling us the sky is red when it's blue. That's what they're doing. And I think the easy answer for this is to dismiss it and say, oh yeah, she'll be there in 2028. It doesn't matter. She'll play in, 4 of these or whatever throughout her career. And, let's say she does or whatever. But the moment is now. This is when everybody's looking. It's not guaranteed later on. You can't guarantee the same level of interest, whether she's a better player or not, because this thing is not largely about how good she is or not. For me, she's like right on the borderline. I think you could argue from a skills standpoint, she could be on the team, or you can argue her just like out of the bottom 5 that, first 5 cuts or whatever. Right. But this is where you break the game open. And, she's probably going to be better then. But James, this is just the next thing. And I've been counting them all the whole time we've been talking about it. It's just this list of things, these weird things that have just gone against her. And it's like, there's some edict or whatever where it's like, you are not special. That's what, like, someone is trying to send her a message like this. You're not special. We refuse to bend at any scenario. And everyone that cares about you should have been caring about us the entire time just because it was the right thing to do. And it doesn't work on what's right, what's wrong. It's like, yo, we're already here. People think they have a say over how the thing is going to explode. The explosion already happened. Like, we passed that part. Like, if you were going to try to dictate terms, like, also, like, the people are choosing. Like, they're choosing her. And it's like, I just don't know how you go into Lisa Leslie. So I don't know how you leave the country without her. And I'm like, yeah, like, these are going to be blowouts. The bench people are going to be able to play a little bit, at least. I don't know, man. I just don't think they understand the opportunity they have. And they're more worried about pacifying veteran players and just trying to make it to where it's like, yeah, man, like, we know she's special, but she ain't that special. Like, and they're trying to and they're giving in to a lot of the worst of the extremes on like, yo, she's trash. She's this white woman. She's like, it's only happening because of her race and stuff like that, which we all know is bullshit or whatever. But it's like, I don't know, man. I just think that they have a colossal opportunity. This is when women's basketball is exploding. Who knows when it's going to feel like this again, or if it'll like contain. But you can look at her stats. Like, her stats measure up with like everyone that's there. They've got Chelsea Gray out there who hasn't played a game. Like, I heard so many people with their argument was, name who you will replace, who you'll take off the team. I don't necessarily want to do that because that's like, more tearing people down. But I'm like, all right, if you want to go that route, go there. Been on this road before. I know gunplay. You know gunplay. But that was for our audience of one, y'all. But Chelsea Gray hasn't played a game. Diana Taurasi has been to 5 of these things. She just needs a 6th. Okay, whatever. And Caitlyn has better stats than her. Brittany Griner's played 1 game. I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of like things like it where it feels like there's a lot of political stuff going on with this, and I don't mean the grifters and all that. What I mean is the politics of the WNBA selection committee, and the coaches that have not been, involved with Caitlyn. And, Caitlyn was unfortunately going to the national title game, so she couldn't be at the mini camps. I'm sorry. Like, I've gone long enough. I'll let James jump in.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff makes me uneasy. On one end, like, I'm with you on the idea of, like, these things have never been a meritocracy. Never. Like, the last Olympic team didn't have the fucking defending MVP, right?
Right.
Like, Neka Ogumake was not on the team, right? Like, right now we have someone average 26 not on the team. You look at, the men's side, like, we've, especially post 2004, the Redeem team and on, since there have been pro players, since the Dream Team, they have never selected the 12 best selections given like availability to them. They've always, or especially like post 2004, they have done fit. Like, they have had Michael Redd win a gold medal. They have had Tyson Chandler win a gold medal. They have had, Drew Holiday gold medal. Great player, not one of the 12 best basketball players in the world or in the country at a particular moment in time, right?
Going again this summer, Drew Holiday.
Right. And apparently he's the first person they call now these days. And I'm assuming that's similar to like the Andre Iguodala thing back a few years ago too, right? It's about fit. And it's like, all right, well, you could put Caitlin Clark in on the team just based off the idea of we're having people for fit. We want guards that can shoot. Sabrina, Caitlin, boom, those are our 2 shooters. The same way Michael Ray used to be on the team. Like, there you go. That's your excuse to put her on right there, right? Now, the part that's weird for me is when people are so if you are saying she's not deserving, I'm not disagreeing with you. But the way people are being dismissive of it is like, well, hold on. Let's not act like she hasn't been a top 20 player in the W so far this year. I understand she's been a fucking turnover machine, but like, she's top 20 in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals.
Like, James, who was like...
And player efficiency rating. Like, shit, that's a top 20 player.
I was like, who gets a shitload of turnovers, James? Luka Doncic.
I mean, like, no. I mean, her. She's like a standard deviation beyond. Like, it's like the next number 2 is like 4 points. She's at 5.8 or something like that. Like, she's turned over way too much. Don't really care, given the rest of the offense production and the fact she's on the worst team in the NBA and she's a rookie. Like, and
seeing like unprecedented defensive coverage
for W. Yeah, the amount of blitz she's received. Yeah. So like, in context of all this is like, I'm not saying my forecast for her to be some all-time great legend or nothing like that, but like, I feel like it's pretty safe to say, regardless of the fan vote or whatever else, she's going to be a all WNBA player at the rate this is going. So, like, forget the fan voting about all-star starter or whatever. It's like, she seems like a lot to be a future all WNBA voted by the media. So I don't get this part where, like, given how we talked about, different points in time with people in the way this thing goes, with the politics, not like right-wing, left-wing, but the politics at play of Team USA and people having bitter, sour taste in their mouth based off of being selected or not selected, and then saying, all right, you screwed me one time, I don't want to do it with you again. Now, Caitlyn has said all the right things, so it appears that she's more level-headed about this than she doesn't really have to be. But if she wanted to be like, all right, man, like, I'm like 14th in scoring, I'm 4th in assists. I couldn't practice sort of thing because I was in the postseason play in the tournament. I feel like I got a raw deal here. And she says, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, this doesn't seem too dissimilar from like when they told Gilbert Arenas, like, yeah, bro, we think you're on the bubble with Kurt Heinrich. And it's like, huh? But, all right, bet. And then that season he's dropping 50 on people. Like, it's bad play when you play these kinds of areas. Potential, it leads you to potential where, like, all right, you want to play these games. What happens when there's a 2004 disaster year? Kobe's facing a sexual assault charge. Shaq's getting traded. KG gets married. Jason Kidd got traded. Ray Allen got traded. Gary Payton got traded, I believe. Like, it was like you have these situations where like all these things happen, and the next thing you know, you're like, all right, it's Sean Marion, Lamar Odom, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, Amari Stoudemire, LeBron as a rookie, Wade as a rookie, and Melo as a rookie, and like we go out there and we lose. Like, you don't, obviously women's basketball team is more nationally is more dominant, but it's like you don't want to play with these margins when you don't otherwise need to.
When someone could easily get married, when someone could have a child, when someone could be injured or whatever, like they have even more variables,
or be held hostage by the state.
Correct.
Which is why Brittany Griner was absolutely going to be on the team regardless of whatever happened, regardless if he played one game. This is very similar to like when Paul George broke his leg in that scrimmage 2014. He's like, there's absolutely no way unless he has some type of scandal that he's not going to be on the 16 team. And he was. Like, except obviously exponentially more. Like, she's going to be the, she's going to be used for like, this is the feel good story of redemption or in the face of adversity, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, like, I can see the argument for or against. Like, if you want to leave her off, fine, but I just don't, the conversation back and forth for the people that are, the part where, like, of course she'd been on, I'm like, hold on, I don't know about that, but the people are like, nah, who should you take off? Is like, all right, hold on too. That's like the merit thing. I'm like, you're not hitting me with merit when we've watched all these Team USA teams, men and women, and seen goofy shit involving Gino Auriemma. Miss me with that, right? So it's like, so I think it's all just, people not actually, she has gone Caitlin Clark and the situations around here have now moved beyond, and it is long past this, before this observation should have been made. It was like, we are past talking about the WNBA and actually Caitlin Clark. These are people online and they're arguing about the people that they don't like on the other side of the argument, as opposed to what the actual thing is. And it's like, all right, man, I'm out. And, and I said in a tweet, like, I'm just waiting for the time when Trump brings his ass to sit courtside at a Fever game, because he's a grifter. And this is really big on the grift. It's really big on this culture war grift. They have made her into this, and like, I see why people are going so hard on the other side, but it's like, I understand that. Yell at those people, don't yell at her. It sounds like y'all are yelling at her, and it's like
she's not asking for any of this.
What is she exactly? And there have been people that are now saying like the WNBA is our most activist league, so therefore she needs to talk. And it's like, since when have we ever said, hey, you are an athlete, therefore you have to say something? That's like, what happens when they say something you don't like? What happens when they say something now and then change their mind?
What happens when they tweet Hebrews and Negroes out? Right.
So like so the rush says you gotta take a stand on this, that, and the third. It's like, well, one, nothing's came up to the level where like it needs immediate attention. Like you said, Kaylan is adly talked about, black people are real Jews. That ain't happened yet. I don't think it is. So
you say
so it's just weird, man.
He's not a black Israelite. We can rule that out.
I don't think Caitlin Clark is a black Israelite. I do not think when she came through. I think she's from Des Moines. I don't think when she came through Metro Des Moines that she ever came across that. No.
Gotcha.
I don't think. Look, I don't know, but I don't think so. I think it's very unlikely. I mean, look, unless she, given her age, maybe her dad listened to some Wu-Tang. I don't know.
Yeah. Look, they all ain't activists. Black Saber Jr. in the comments, ain't there a girl on the Mercury, a whole MAGA representative? Yes. I believe her name is Sophie Cunningham. Been in this league for years, by the way. Oh, I don't know.
Look. That don't surprise me. that there's MAGA players in the W or in the NBA, right? Like that's a thing. I mean, hell. Well, what's your boy Jonathan Isaacs in Orlando?
Yeah. And it's like what I want people to kind of think about on this is like, I think painting people with the wide brush on this, like, yes, it's going to be easy to look at it like, yo, a lot of the, like Stephen A. Smith's on TV and I think he's making some good points, but a lot of people think he's not. And it's like, some of that stuff is framing, and then he's sitting there with two black women on the TV,
and he's yelling over them, interrupting them, and Shannon is too. And I'm like, this is bad. And I was like, and also one, like, I've wished this show's had been in these types of shows were shot into the sun to die and burn a miserable death like a decade ago. You know that. Like, before we started the show, I was like, I'm not doing that. So, like, when it's like, this is the reason why. It's like, I see the clip, I'm like, this looks awful. This looks awful. And, like, the conversation, Stephen A. Smith is funny and being dismissive, but it's like, I mean, the point they're making is merit versus, Cheney and Andrea are making is merit versus Stephen A. Smith and Shannon's part, which is like, this thing that Stephen A. Smith keeps getting himself in trouble with is like, he believes in uplifting of black people via capitalism. And I'm like, nah, brother, I you've been very successful. Good for you. But like, capitalism is a construct of white supremacy. It can uplift some black people. It ain't uplifting all black people. So like, you might want to, do a little more due diligence on that. But that's his worldview, because I imagine that would be my worldview if I had 8 figures based off being able to talk. And obviously I don't mean that just to belittle his whole career as a journalist and everything else and the whole grind he had to do in all these different sports to get to where he is. But he's made most of his bread off of being opinionated and charismatic and funny as hell, right? Like, he had to do groundwork to get to that point, but the money was made mostly off of that. So, like, his worldview is shaped by that. And it's like, I understand what you're saying, but like, you're also saying you must also realize that, like, people hold the Olympics even though they shouldn't. Is a fallacy of like amateurism and all that kind of stuff to a certain level of merit, even above the pro sports. And also, he's also ignoring, I think people also ignoring this to a extent, like, the WNBA and Team USA basketball are not the same entity. A lot of overlap, tons of overlap, but they're not the same entity. They have different agendas and different masters to serve. A lot of them are the same, but they're not all the same. So I think that's another part of it. But yeah, like, it is a bad look that when your fundamental statement is you should turn this shit into to an extent. If someone's arguing merit, right? Their argument is more dignified and virtuous than someone saying, "Hey man, turn this shit into wrestling and push somebody." you must admit, turn this shit into wrestling and give somebody a push. That's what they're arguing for. And I get what they're saying because I don't understand the history of it, but
dog, they thirsty. They got their mouths open. They begging for it. Like Keith Sweat, they're begging for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Give them Caitlin Clark.
I see the. It wouldn't bother me either way, because there is absolutely a merit argument you can make of for Team Fit. She's a shooter. Sabrina's gonna make it regardless, but like you put her too because like in case she goes down, you have the depth of you have a shooter there. Also, and also it's like you can also use that excuse because y'all gonna blow everybody out anyway because you're USA women's basketball, for fuck's sake. You're like 70-3 in the Olympic competitions. Women professionally played in the shit. Yeah.
Let her be the victory cigar. Come in with 5 minutes left in the game and pull from 30. Like, I guarantee you, people would have went crazy, James. They'd have gone crazy.
Yeah, and also, I'm with you on the part where, like, look, if she was on the team, you bring her out there, she'd be the victory cigar. She'd be the Darko Milicic, right?
Or she might just be really good because she's actually going to be around good players.
Right.
Have you considered that? Like,
right. I'm with you on that. And it's like, you do all this stuff, and like win more eyes, you can see like the greatness of Asia Wilson, the greatness of oh my god, of Elizabeth Thomas, right? The greatness of Kelsey Plum, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm with you on all that. Like the final send off of Diana Taurasi. That seemingly, since 4 years ago when she had the last single with Sue Bird, it seemed the only reason why she's even still playing is to get to the one last Olympic gold medal. So like, yeah, I'm with you on a lot of that stuff. But I'm one way or the other, I don't really care one or the other. I just see both sides. I'm like, y'all are far really polarized. The middle idea on all this, how this should go or whatever else, I can see it go one way or the other. You can justify one way or the other. But like, y'all are too busy yelling about this because y'all don't like the other side of this for reasons that have nothing actually to do with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. The team that ended up making was Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, Brittany Griner, Jewel Lloyd, Chelsea Gray, Diana Taurasi, Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Jackie Young, and Kalia Copper. A lot of great players there. Like, yeah. Like you're not looking at this thing like, yeah.
Oh, girl from Dallas got left off at 26 points a game.
Yeah. Enrique, I cannot say her last name. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. I'd have butchered it too.
Yeah, but
I only know how to pronounce Agumake because she need to be on the TV. She need to be looking good on the TV too. But that's neither here nor there. That just had to state it.
For the record,
Yeah, just for the record.
But yeah, man, like it's just become so much like, and I try to consume kind of all spectrums of this. Not look, I'm not clicking on no Outkick.
Excuse me?
I'm not clicking on no Dave Portnoy.
No, look at the screen. You almost told on yourself. Go ahead.
So like I try to listen to a lot of people talk about this or whatever, and then the second I hear them wading into that bullshit, I'm like, all right, I'm done, and then like X them off the list. So there's so much I think to it, and like this has all become radicalized. Yeah, and it's like, damn, man, like I just saw. This chick pulling for 35 at Iowa and said, I'm with it. That's all I got in for, right? And then who knew that she was going to be this representation of what people feel is wrong with the world, like just on either side. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to say I don't care that much about it, but it's like I just think people making it up as they go, like, and kind of refusing to admit what she's bringing to the table. I think it's ridiculous to dismiss her in the way a lot of people have.
Yeah. Especially when it's like she's been really good, despite like the team she's been on, the weird fit, the weird coaching decisions, the crazy schedule, the lack of time off between advancing that, getting all the way to the final in the start of the season. Yeah, it's just strange how this is all like. And in a weird way, maybe that's what's kept this whole thing hot, because like she went straight from like having those huge ratings, in the Final Four, in the in the championship game, and then like she's playing immediately. Like maybe that was her best. Maybe if this was like a like the NBA where like you get to the Final Four, then like and then Zion doesn't get his first game until October. Maybe it does cool down, and that does like hurt like the eyes watching the product of the WNBA. Maybe it does. I don't know.
I'll tell you this though, what's going to be the highest rated Team USA game is going to be Team USA versus the WNBA All Stars. It's going to be Caitlyn versus Team USA.
Yeah,
and that is appointment television in the latter household. I can't wait. In the words of Sleepy Brown.
I guess time to talk to the other basketball, the men's hoops.
The niggas, as Rick Ross would say.
Oh my god. Okay. So wait, since he said that, we talking about Rick Ross. You think since we talked about it earlier, you think Caitlin Clark talking about the pastrami posse? You think so? Do you think we ever get the Kyrie Irving, Rick Ross, and Caitlin Clark photo op?
Oh my God. So like,
if that happens,
bro,
that's like, oh,
I know nothing about.
I changed everything I said.
I know nothing about Caitlin Clark, and bro, I almost don't desire to know nothing about Caitlin Clark. Like, I'm good. You know, I don't.
Things people project on her is crazy. Remember when during that one game?
Yeah.
About that one tweet. It was like how she keeps it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and that shit did double platinum in likes and engagement. Like, everything. Everybody's willing to talk about this woman. It is crazy in any kind of way disrespectful. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it don't seem like no one's like, she don't. I think the part that also is like, eventually she's got to speak up for herself as far as defending herself.
Yeah.
Like that's something to be said about that. Like, you can't just let people just talk about, run your name through the mud like that without standing up for yourself. Because they're going to treat you like your punching bag eventually. And eventually, she'll have her break where she says, all right, enough. But she seems to try to, turn the other cheek. And I'm telling you, you keep turning the other cheek, they're going to punch the other one.
Yeah, I've definitely seen an athlete not defend himself for years and years and years. And, like, seen people come up with whatever they want to say about him.
I mean, there's one I can think of in particular, Tommy McNabb, back when he was in Philly. Like, that was rough. But who are you talking about?
Kaepernick.
Oh. Yeah.
But NBA Finals 2024. Man, the Dallas Mavericks don't score 100 points in the first two games.
In 2004 NBA basketball.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is a boring NBA Finals so far for me. There is not a single Boston Celtics player that I'm like, hell yeah. I've come to the conclusion, James, I think Drew Holiday is my favorite Boston Celtic.
I mean, him and Horford would be my two favorite ones. Because we got to think, like, we saw, we talked about this, like, basically as a block, as the game was clinched, right? Like, game 2 was clinched. I called you, and I said to you, man, like, we go back and you see this thing in retrospect. Like, I think Boston's going to win this series, barring some type of other injury. Like, even Porzingis with his ankle or knee or whatever happened to him at the end of the game and him limping around a little bit and come out of the game. Like, unless it's something that gets reactivated or takes him off the floor or hampers his ability in a major way to play, I think this series is pretty much a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter of, is it going to be 4 or 7, right? But but the inevitability is, like, Boston's better with more good players, and, like, flat out, Dallas cannot stop the ball. They cannot stop they cannot guard the person in front of them. Whether it's Luka, whether it's Kyrie, they're finding ways to attack them, and they're getting deep into the paint. And even while Tatum can't hit the side of a barn, he is still.
While Jason Tatum looked like he has gambling, like he's gambling on the sport.
Rich, 8 games, finals career, 35% shooting.
Amazing. So I'm sitting here watching,
and he had 12 assists, so it didn't matter because he's blown by Luka or whoever else, getting deep into the paint and finding and spraying out the shooters.
Don't it all.
And spraying the shooters to either get open shot or start putting Dallas into rotation.
But I say, and the Celtics really ain't even shoot all that well.
They shot terribly. In game 2.
Yeah, like me and Catherine were doing this thing while we were watching the game. Every time somebody was messing up, we would say gambling. Like, after,
I mean, it's fun to do these days now.
Bro, I forgot who it was. They shot an air ball. Me and Catherine, we looked at each other like gambling.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, Jason Tatum, what a weird player. The guy got all the tools, all the gifts, perfect form on his jump shot, just everything, just except the scoring. And then, like, he's in the media talking about, it's the game. He's running the script. the game is about more than scoring, and look at all these other things I do on the basketball court, and make it like we're the stupid ones.
So in retrospect,
we didn't read the box score, James.
Right. So all the shots he took. Yeah. So when you said that, I was thinking along the lines of that. I think Tatum was talking about like the bait that Jason Kidd put out after game 1, where he said that Jaylen Brown's the best player on the team, and it's like, all right, Jason, if Jaylen Brown's the best player, why are you loading up every time Jason Tatum has the ball and not Jaylen Brown?
Someone should have asked him that.
Well, no one's asking that, but like he was trying to play it again, trying to get him to have one of those, ego games where he throws up 30 shots or whatever else. And don't get me wrong, he got a fair number of shots, but it's like he made so many plays where it's like, I can't say he had a bad game, he just didn't have a good game. Because when you have 12 assists, you have that kind of rebounding, you play that kind of defense, like you are making up for when your shot doesn't fall. I would like to see the shot fucking fall for him in a finals game eventually, but outside of that, with stuff he can control, he's doing well with so far in the series.
I think Kyrie has been a disappearing act.
I didn't realize he played that bad in the second half. I thought,
did he not bring the stage with him, into the building as the leprechauns rising up and taking hold of his soul? Did Tommy Heinsohn come out the grave like it completely, get into his psyche, or the Celtic ghosts coming down from there? Because what I'm seeing with him is like, I ain't never seen this man look like. I feel like this man is like one of the most when he has it going, he's one of the most unconscious players I've ever seen. Like, where it's like mentally tough. He's a great finisher. He tries hard, and like he's impossible to deal with because he's quicker than everybody. He's got all the moves. He can finish. Him being undersized, it doesn't matter because he can shoot.
Well, he's not really undersized.
All the way to the rim.
Well, if you use him as a 2 guard, which is more his natural fit, then yes, he is undersized. But I get what you mean.
You get him to the rim, and like he's spinning that bitch off there. But I don't know, man. And then like as good as Luka has played, right? And I see the numbers
last night.
I see the numbers, the 30-point triple-double. And honestly, some of these are feeling like some of them LeBron triple-doubles. Where it's like, yeah, you got a triple-double, but it's like, it feels like you're going through the motions a little bit. Like, it ain't, you need to make more of an impact.
I mean, I don't know how much more of an impact he made. It's like he was questionable. I don't know what his injury is. Right?
Yeah.
I will say this, though. Like, it's really simple to me so far in the series. Like, Boston has been able to keep their bigs by the rim in Porzingis or Horford. And Gaffney and Lively and Kleber have been put in the corners by Porzingis and Horford when they've had to guard them. And like when they've had like Derek White, or they've had especially over 2 games, but also Drew Holiday in that dump off dunker spot thing. Like, it's been eating them alive, and because they get past one person, and like that, and like their help is a wing, is not a big, so like they can get deep into the paint. They're not getting worn off of, there's a big, so let me go ahead and kick it out earlier, and then they're just getting them in rotation. Then on the other end is like Porzingis beating shit left and right, Derek White's beating shit left and right.
Porzingis out here looking like Bill Walton in the 70s, James. What the fuck?
Right. And it's just like they've just been able to do a better job. And then also another thing is like Boston is, of course, like they're like, hey, we are rarely ever we are not going to, like, whatever you want to do to hunt whoever, go for it. Do your thing, whatever. We're not we are not letting Luka, who has had some incredible passes in and out in decision making at points during this game or during this series so far. We are not letting him just, do whatever, get by somebody to a spot and then find a strong side corner shooter. No, they say in attach, they're not playing that. You want to score, go for it. Score 50. We don't give a fuck. You're not putting us in the rotation. Like, the way that it's just been that kind of things. Like, they're dictating terms to Dallas, and like Kyrie and Luka have not been able to make them adjust out of that because they've torched them so much by doing that stuff. Like, a lot of shots didn't fall in game 1, and then the shooters have not made shots in the series except for Luka. Like I think, is it like they've just stunk it up shooting threes outside of Luka. So yeah, man, like if Boston's going to shoot that poorly, but constantly, put Dallas in scramble mode all game long on defense because they're blowing by, and then people got to overhelp, and then it leaves wide open shooters. I don't see the solution other than like, hey, I don't think they played that much zone this year. Like zone
for zone.
I think they played zone in what game was it? Against OKC. They played zone for a stretch, but like that was like the most zone they played all year. Right? They're not a zone. They're not like Miami where they got all types of different looking zones that switch between possessions, between 2-3, 1-3-1, all that shit, 2-3. Like, nah, they're not that team. But like they're running out of options fast, and unless they just flat out guard the ball better, I don't see any better option for them other than zone and install zone off a walkthrough.
And we know what zone is for.
Cowards. and they're already getting beat in rebounding battle. So they're going to be more susceptible to offensive rebounds if that happens.
Yeah.
And they get ate up in the dunker spots section anyway, which is a zone beater. So they're not a good enough team. There's not a good enough team. And they got a really lucky break. They got a really lucky break with not facing facing Denver.
The whole time I'm watching this show, I'm like, yo, the Nuggets would be kicking the shit out of the Celtics. But, like, we're just not in that world, and, like, the Celtics are about to almost walk to their 18th title, which I, as a Laker fan, I'm not happy with. But, Jaylen Brown is kind of taking control of this team or whatever. And, I watched the 22 finals, and he seemed like he was the one that, I was rooting for the Warriors. I was like, yeah, man, like, that's the guy to be afraid of. Because, like, Jason Tatum was just, like, he did not have, like, it seemed like he did, like, Jaylen Brown, the difference between them was Jaylen Brown is willing to go to the rim and not be stopped on his way there.
Yeah.
And Jason Tatum was not. He was willing to settle.
Right. Because Tatum is a better shooter. But, like, that's the thing is, like, when you want to be Kobe and you not Kobe, you look crazy because sometimes Kobe looked crazy. When you take all them tough-ass shots, people gonna look at you like you crazy. But the thing with Kobe
was how you brand it.
But the thing was Kobe was the greatest tough shot taker ever. So even though he took crazy shots, it was okay because it was Kobe. You ain't Kobe.
Man, I swear to God, he better not. He better not do the pose. He better not. I'm gonna hate him.
So you talk about
hate him, bro.
So you talk about the Kyrie thing, whatever. Man, I don't know how old do you think Kyrie is right now?
Kyrie's like 32.
He's 32. Like, he's not a small guard, but he's not a big guard either. And I understand, like, the shooting stuff, but, like, there's nothing. Kyrie has had a great month and a half, but, like, will you say we're still in prime Kyrie stage? Where you expect him to get 40 any given night? Because I don't think so. I don't feel that way.
I think he has had such a strange couple years where it felt like there were all these other factors other than basketball.
A lot of I think in one of your quotes you'd be like, "There's a lot of shit around him."
Yeah, that where it was like, all right, he's like not great right now, but he got traded, but he got suspended, but he's on team to team. Like there's vaccination stuff. Like there was just something like
last year they didn't make the playoffs or the play-in.
So for me, if there was a decline, right, like we weren't able to really, I would say, see it like that. It was like
I kind of saw when they played the Celtics in that series where they got swept by Boston when the Nets.
Yeah,
like he played like they were putting Tatum.
He went crazy one game.
Sorry.
He went crazy for one game.
Right. And that was like game one. And that was that game with the Marcus Smart to Tatum layup. But yeah, like lift bothers him. And obviously everybody gets bothered by a bigger defender with long arms. Like that is like to be like that's like the quarterback equivalent of like, if you hit him, he don't play as effectively. No shit. But like, when they were the times he looked, like not great at times in those Warriors series was like when they were putting Clay on him because Clay's bigger, right? Like, and he's seeing Tatum and he's seeing Derek White and he's seeing Drew Holiday and they're all bigger than him. So, I mean, that has some effect on it. And obviously, like, Drew's one of the great defenders of the era. So like maybe he's putting the muscle game on him, he's not realizing it. Like that shit didn't work on Jimmy Butler last year at all, but I mean, he can work on Kyrie. He's bigger than Kyrie.
Porzingis has been like a revelation. Like I'm almost like, it's like, all right, man, he's a perfect 6-man kind of for them. Like he just comes in, and then it's like, yeah, man. Like you remember how Bill Simmons would write about like Wilt in like the wine cellar team? He'd be like, yeah, so Wilt, you're never starting. However, you're gonna come off the bench. We're running everything through you.
Okay.
That's what the fuck Kristaps Porzingis is doing. He's coming in and like, while everyone's like, getting that first bit of win, they're starting these substitutes. They're bringing Porzingis in.
And he's killing the second unit.
Like he's killing the second unit, busting the game open, blocking shit at the rim, hitting threes, getting in that mid post, and just shooting over whatever small motherfucker they want to line up. Next to him, he's giving him the ball fake, and then it's like, oh, you have no chance in hell at blocking me, right. And then he's just shooting it. Right. Like, this is crazy. Like, could this nigga steal a Finals MVP off the bench? Like,
if you can say healthy, it's either her. I think Jaylen Brown right now will get the votes, but like the way this is gone or whatever else, you can make the argument that like Jaylen Brown or Porzingis or Drew Holiday our final MVP. I wouldn't argue with any of the three. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, after he made a couple shots, when they start giving him the dirt and whiskey, and he was like, all right, put you at the nail, screen off, and then we give it to you, and then like one shot pull up or do whatever you want once you face up, and then it's like they got like PJ Washington guarding him, and it's like, oh, so you think he's like Matt Barnes or Steven Jackson, and he's like 2007 Dirk, and he's gonna get underneath him and cause a problem? And it's like, nah, man, he's comfortable taking one dribble and pulling up over him because he's 7'3". Once he gets the ball over above his shoulders, that's a clear shot. That's an open shot. None of this below his shoulders matters. He's 7'3". Swish. I was like, hey man, he's lining up right now. Like, so yeah, man, he's been a complete, like, I thought like his health was going to be a factor to make this to where like they can keep this close, and if they can keep it close in Dallas, I'd rather have Kyrie and Luka in a close game than what I've seen with Jaylen and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum over these years. Just completely, crap the bed all them times. But Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis out here saying, nah, we not letting this shit get close. Derek White too. We not letting this shit get close. We gonna make sure
we the big homies
out of reach. We're not gonna let them. We're not gonna let our two best players fuck the end of these games up for us. We are putting this out of reach. So yeah, I don't know how how many games do you think's left in this series?
Dallas is going home for game 3, and I think you got to give them a chance to, get acclimated to, their building and stuff like that. But man, the way this is going, this is looking like 5.
This looks like 5. Yep. And
it's looking like they're going back to Boston.
It looks like 5.
They're willing to go to Bill Russell out to present the Finals MVP to somebody.
Yeah. Look, I think we have historically slept on what Boston did all year. In the run they had through this playoffs, even though it was a bunch of weakened teams, but they're beating the shit out of the Western finalists. Like, you look at this record and whatever else. Like, I'm not saying there's an all-time great team because I want to see them. I want to see them play the Nuggets next year and then prove who's actually all-time great team or whatever else. But they won like 65 games.
64
games in an era where motherfuckers are not trying to win 60 games anymore. Like, and they were beating the shit out of teams. Their win margin was crazy. They were due, and they also got lucky breaks with the injuries. But the East was super weak. They were only I thought unless the Bucks, I thought the Bucks were gonna give them a run, but self-imploded, whatever. And then I thought the Nuggets, were gonna beat them when they played because of the size difference. But Nuggets got tapped out by Rudy Gobert. So it's where we are. So they're so
what
it
a
looks
fucking
like
weird year, man.
Yeah, so they have the profile of
One
an
bright
all-time
side.
great team, and they're kicking teams' ass like an all-time great team.
One bright side. Hopefully we can stop talking about the 2008 Celtics.
Oh boy.
I'm being informed. Speaking of our next topic, Ricochet has announced he is not going to resign with WWE. He's hitting it out of there on the first train. Apparently, he was just stretcher jobbed out of the WWF. like Nick Mang in the comments is saying. Yeah, man. So last week on the show, I ultimately came to the conclusion of fuck it, he should leave because
that's the conclusion you came to.
Yeah,
you talked yourself into that one, huh? How hard of a stretch?
Yeah.
Hold on. How hard was it for you to talk yourself into saying, "Hey, fuck it, someone leave WWF"? I guess that was real hard for you, right?
I went over everything where I was like, all right, this is what can happen. Obviously, you got to weigh in his girlfriend. You got to weigh in, maybe he likes where he is. He's always been like that. But then I was like, you know what? There ain't no guarantee if you stay, motherfuckers ain't just gonna keep passing you by anyway. You got 7 years that you've been there, or however the fuck long you've been there.
He showed up in 2018. Like his first match was that ladder match, right? At New Orleans takeover. Yeah.
So what the craziest shit I saw yesterday regarding or today regarding Ricochet? Somebody asked a question to them about him and Will Ospreay being linked and compared it to Trae Young and Luka Doncic. I was like, oh my God. I was like,
a biracial and a white guy from Europe.
Basically, his career is going one way and yours is going the other way. Or no, they were asking Ospreay about it or whatever. So Ospreay probably didn't understand what all that meant or whatever. But
I would be. Wouldn't you be shocked if you found out Will Ospreay was watching the NBA, knew any of this shit was going on?
Bro, I would be I feel like Will Ospreay has no concept of the NBA or sports or anything.
I think he may follow soccer, and I'd be shocked.
Yeah, that's probably about it.
I'd be surprised if he followed anything else.
So obviously their careers are going in different directions, but Ricochet, I was like, there's no guarantee for you to, get whatever the fuck you want by staying or whatever. You might got to change your location. And that looks to be the plan. Obviously this guy is one of the most talented wrestlers to ever live.
Yep.
I think he has, there are obviously opponents ready for him. The second he walks in AEW, there's, you can team him with Matt Sydal. You can have him fight Ospreay. You can have him fight Rey Fenix. Whoever,
is
get him in there against the Bucks.
Dragon Gate stuff with Pac.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff.
So there's I imagine that he'll come in with some kind of plan, and I don't think he's gonna walk right in right away. He might probably take a little while to get himself together and all that, but he is the perfect kind of guy for New Japan to call right now and be like, "You want to do the G1?" Hey, you always wanted to be a heavyweight, right? The only thing is he might want to get to Wembley. That's the only thing. So if he wants to sacrifice, be like, you know what? I'm not worried about Wembley this year. I'll come back around next year. I'll go ahead, take this low cut deal, because obviously we know New Japan's not stepping with the yen. But Ricochet would walk back into New Japan with, and I'm just playing a hypothetical. I anticipate him in AEW for the record. But if he was in New Japan, was like, hey, I'll energize your G1. He will rebuild his great match reputation, and he will get pushed as a heavyweight like he always wanted to. And he'd be like, all right, do a big Wrestle Kingdom match, then focus on AEW or whatever. There's that. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be the dream scenario, I think. Ricochet versus Vikingo, Kenny Omega versus Ricochet, which is I'd love to see that.
Yeah. I think he ends up in AEW. If he shows up in New Japan, great. right? Like they need a shot in the arm So yeah, like AEW, I mean, there's like, it's loaded, but like there's always going to be a place for someone as talented as Ricochet. I mean, sorry, like there's always going to be space for in any pro wrestling promotion anywhere on earth for someone as talented as Ricochet. So yeah, I'm with you. If he wants to go there, as you mentioned, stuff's there for him to do. There's matches that never happened, matches that are fresh because they haven't happened in years, since 2018. Yeah. I mean, hell, what if he's the person that saves Malachi Black? What if he's the one that pulls that pulls him out the shitter of not wanting to do jobs? Bro, Black and Shea was one of my favorite tag teams in that era, and then like they were separated.
I'll say this though, whatever. There's like the potential. We've seen people come in and go bad for him. I would, I don't know exactly how he gets down. I've heard mixed stories on it. Where however he walks in the AEW,
but there are enough people at the top that absolutely love him. Adam Cole loves him. The Young Bucks love him. Yeah. The guys that were in New Japan when he was there in that era, I'm sure they all love him.
Tanahashi loves him.
Yeah. Right. So especially Tanahashi. It's
like walk in with your head on straight. I think obviously if you walk in with your head on straight, the proof's in the pudding, the results are there. If it's me, I'm never letting Ricochet talk. Like, we got to rebuild this guy from the ground up. Like, I think so
it's
much
funny
damage.
You said the same thing about Athena, and then Athena officially figured it out.
Bro, never let him talk. Like, yo, you can't. Don't hand on a microphone. Hey, we're doing voiceovers for you. We will hire the epic voice guy to talk about how awesome you are. You will walk to the ring. MJF will make you try to talk. MJF will be the only one talking, and then you will attack him. That's it. I love the MJF tweet that went wrestling Twitter viral with someone parodied his entire promo style for Ricochet, and then so much to the point that he responded to it.
Oh, he did.
Said bookmark. He said bookmark.
That's hilarious. Yeah, man.
But his run in WWE, he was awesome in NXT. He was like the last of the real like signing. He never won the NXT championship, and that's when we should have kind of knew, like, yeah, man, this guy was over enough. He was good enough to win it, and then he didn't win it, and it only got tougher for guys.
He was only there for he was there for a year and a day.
It only got tougher for guys after him or whatever, and
because remember Meltzer at the time was like, "Hey, bro, people were in NXT are looking around like, bro." Like, after this Black and Shea shit, they're looking around like, bro, if he don't make it, then what the fuck? Because it's Ricochet. So, yeah. And then, obviously, you get the, a lot of the cuts and stuff that happen or whatever else over the last 2 years after that. So, yeah.
I think he just has some trouble, I think, navigating the waters. They had him in a lot of, tag team units. They had him with ideas of being a superhero. There was just like, they never, to me, really captured like what I thought Ricochet was like in 2016 and 2017. He was just like another level. Like, how don't you team him up with Apollo and let them run back some Dragon Gate shit and Akira Tozawa, like, and put them together as a unit and go crazy at any point? The Triple H era didn't even try it, quote unquote. So it's like, all right, man, like, how long ago did they give up on this guy? I don't know, but they used him for the Logan Paul thing. They had him get killed by Brock Lesnar once in Saudi Arabia. Very up and down career. He got left off WrestleMania this year. So it was like, how do you look around and be like, yeah, this is, I see myself here. It's like,
especially after having a great match in LA WrestleMania the year before too, in that multi-man.
He's 35 now. Obviously, he wrestles a very demanding style.
Yeah, and he's already made concessions on his game as far as some of the flying. Like, he's not like, I don't think he's doing 630s anymore. I think the days him doing the double moonsault he was doing in Dragon Gate. Hell, I don't think he ever did that in WWE or NXT either. So yeah, his game has toned down on some of the stuff he was doing, but even so, he's still fucking incredible. He's an incredible athlete.
Yeah. So, like, I think if he walks in with his head on right, let's see it. Like, that's, I'm with it.
Yeah.
But,
and, He's a peak NXT guy. He was a peak NXT guy that was great in that era when it was a murderer's row of people. Like, I'm always going to root for them dudes. Like, I always am. Unless they do something to disgrace themselves. So, he ain't disgraced himself, so I'm still rooting for him.
I'll let that ride. But I looked at the calendar yesterday, and this is not on the Twitch stream, but it is the 6-year anniversary of Okada-Omega IV on 6/9, 2018. It's 6/10 right now, but I still wanted to talk about it because
week anniversary. Yeah.
Like, it was like, I just look up every time, the middle of the year, and I start thinking about like where I was watching wrestling at that time, watching it with Jeremy and Josh, what I felt like about the pro wrestling world at that time, where I thought it was just such an interesting time. And then the Kazuchika Okada mountain-like title reign, and then Kenny Omega going through all the, the side quests or whatever until, you get back to Okada. And this match that they had was just a motherfucking movie. Like, I haven't watched it since maybe 2020, I think is the last time I watched it. And it was like, with them like kind of coming together again this year and, going eye to eye, it was like, this is the origin. Like, I know we talk about Omega and Jericho, there's All In and stuff like that, but Okada-Omega is really the origin for like a lot of this shit, to where
like the 6-star rating made people lose their fucking minds. And then seeing the match and the fucking Dragon Superplex, and and then obviously the other 3 matches they added to the history of the matchup and everything. And I still think that the 2 best matches I've ever seen in my life was Omega Okada 1 and 4. So yeah, in a way, all these things lead to these things, right? You got the pipe bomb promo, that's a part of it. You got Cody leaving to get the fuck out of WWE to find a way to make himself a star because he wants to prove it on his own merit. That's a part of it. You got the Jericho double main event that he calls it with Omega. You got the Okada-Omega series. All these things are parts of like the roots of what showed that like there was a market for a second major American pro wrestling promotion in his country. So yeah, all that stuff, because it was like, I mean, remember those numbers that like the Young Bucks and the Elite were doing in the Cow Palace for like, for those what were they called? I don't even remember what they were. Like in Long Beach and also at the Cow Palace when New Japan would come over here, like it was crazy.
Yeah, and thinking about the Dominion show like that was on, like that's just like one of the best cards of all time.
Yeah,
and seeing like it was like the peak of wrestling performance, and it was like you needed like to be an incredible athlete to do the things they did in those things, and like to be peaking. Like, I think what I described it as, I was like the greatest champion I've ever saw against the most driven to have a great match guy I've ever saw, both having their greatest match at the same time, like together or whatever, like with number 4.
That absolutely played off the other 3 matches they had.
Yeah.
So I want like thinking back to 2018, how crazy of a time that was. Like that's dead in the peak of NXT, right? That is the Young Bucks being such a big deal that like Ring of Honor is running, Supercard of Honor. I think it's called the Uno Arena now, or whatever. And like the Kenny Omega Cody thing was so big at the time that we like elected. We had our choice. We can go to TakeOver New Orleans, one of the greatest shows of all time, or we can go to this Ring of Honor show, and then we'll watch the other one. Right, we go to one and watch the other one the next day, unspoiled, put our phones away. We all said, let's go in person. We know TakeOver's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show. We want to see this Cody Elite shit. Watched it, had our fun, and then the next day, it is one of my favorite like day or weekends as a wrestling fan. Like the next day, we all got up, watched the shit, and we're like, yo, this takeover show was unbelievable. Like this is one of the greatest shows any of us have ever seen. Like we were eating back in 2018 because of like New Japan Pro Wrestling, NXT, Ring of Honor, and like that was in hell. Summerverse 2018, TNA too, right?
Yeah.
Like we had these 4 separate places that were out here putting on great shows, and to see it like that was the proof. We didn't realize, but that. I'm sure for Tony Khan, that was proof. Like, what? Wait a second. All these people in these smaller little, let me start something up. And now we have AEW. And I'm not saying that like it's better or worse that we don't we don't have 4 places and there's so much talent. It's consolidated in two places as opposed to, spread out more so we can see more people achieve more things at a higher level and get more importance on different cards or whatever else. I'm just saying like we should have known that like something like this is a once in a lifetime thing and Tony Khan sees it and this is where we are now. And it's really cool. It really is. Since we talked about Okada-Omega. And that was one of the like things to say like, hey, there's something in the water here to start something. Absolutely.
Yeah. So whenever they do part 5, I'll be ready. And,
I mean, you think that was a tease that they did for Wembley, right?
I think it's definitely a Wembley tease. If Kenny Omega
are we
can
sure
get up right,
are we sure he can be healthy enough in time for that though?
I don't think so, but
we'll see.
Niggas a cyborg, so I don't know. Like yeah, man. What else do we have on here?
That's the sound of your current hype level at the gas pump. But brace yourself for something fuel nominal, because Unleaded 88 is about to take the hype to a whole new level. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, cleaner, and greener than regular unleaded. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, brought to you by Iowa Corn.
AEW Dynamite last week featured the return of MJF to start the show.
Yeah. Throwing out a lot of bait.
Came out. What's up?
Throwing out a lot of bait.
Yeah, talking a lot of shit. In the words of Jack Perry.
It was funny because we were, back when CM Punk showed up on Collision, and I was saying like, look, man, he knows that like, hey, like the money program is me versus the elite, so I'm gonna throw shots at them, hoping that they pick up on it or get pissed enough that they want to do something about it. And we had a thing, and they said, nope, we'll let you down the vine out here. And MJF showed back up after being, and a lot of the hardcore day one AEW fans being just like so disillusioned by the end of his title run and the whole devil shit and everything and the murder mystery of all that shit, and just being like, all right, well, the house people in the company, Swerve and Will Ospreay. Let me throw some bait at both of them and hopefully please they'll take the bait. And neither one of them have, and I don't know if they ever will, but it's pretty obvious what's happening. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm got here to stall and kill time, but and try to set up the road to these future money programs until Roosh comes out here and arrests me. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, good promo, but I just see I see the things, I just see them, and I can't not see them because like. There's always shit in exhibition. There's always shit in MJF promos. Always.
Yep. He basically, does a Colorado I'm high thing. He said he's ready to wrestle some guy from Japan or Mexico at Forbidden Door, casually dismissing the Japanese and Mexican wrestlers.
He's doing it again.
Of course. He talks about the Rainmaker, how much money he makes, and tells him he can't afford a gym membership because this is Kazuchika Okada needs to be more cut, apparently, and get on the gas.
Yeah.
He's talking about a guy who keeps swerving around as part of the Mogul Embassy. Swerve calls himself a business mogul, but he must have skipped his public speaking course, so he's one step away from calling a black man illiterate on TV.
It didn't make. I don't know if that. Like, I don't know how that lands. Seeing like he's cut great promos. What? What are you talking about? Okay, cool.
He said the most egregious claim was from a cockney cockhead who said he's the best in the world, bruv. And then last time he checked, Will Ospreay isn't Chris Jericho, Adam Cole, Cody Rhodes, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, and he's never defeated all of them, but MJF did.
Yeah. That one actually was good because he did race, and it's hilarious. It's like I got to face someone from Japan or Mexico, and it's like but I beat Hiroshi Tanahashi. Make up your mind, man. Like,
I'm like, look, man. Like,
are they
jabronis? Beat all them same niggas too, bro.
Are they jabronis or are they people that you need to care about? Make up your mind.
Like, I don't know if a Will Ospreay Adam Cole match has ever happened. I'm not sure.
Who cares?
But but I think Will's beat the rest of them. I'm pretty sure. Like, maybe Cody. I don't know. But
I'll face Adam Cole, bro. No. Look, man.
Look, I don't even want him to say the words Adam Cole out loud. Like, I don't want to think about this shit.
Like, bro, once you gave him that brain buster, we never want you to ever mention him ever again. We're done. You killed him at the pay-per-view. We're moving on. We're on to Cincinnati.
Said if Ospreay wants to lie through his yellow crooked teeth, that's cool, but he's not the best in the world. MJF's the guy who did the impossible, became the face of AEW, creating some of the best matches and moments in the sport. He went from the most hated to the most beloved. He goes home to heal from his wounds, and revisionists start trying to revise his legacy and his name. Roosh comes out,
bro, that
comes to the stage.
Revise that shit, not us.
Yeah, we've been keeping it stacked.
Thanks.
He said while MJF has been gone, Roosh has been working. MJF gets a big celebration for a return, but where's his big moment? Roosh said he's going to take his moment and said, you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Can we also interject that, like, this fucking crowd started wutting him?
Oh, yeah. So, and then MJF interjects and says, I understood none of that. Dismissing a man speaking the second language.
Thank you, MJF. Thank you with your history of being problematic to especially interacting with foreign wrestlers that are speaking English as their second language. Thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. You learned nothing from the Kesha shit. You learned nothing from you in fucking Juice with the rolled up quarters. When are you gonna fucking learn? Leave that shit alone.
So he said he came out here in his dinosaur suit and he's looking dry, similar to what he's made every woman he's been with. MJF said some could call Roosh a nepo baby for having family connections in the business. He put over Roosh's accomplishments in and out of AEW, but he said the problem is MJF isn't one of the best. He's the best. He spoke some Spanish and infuriated Roosh, and then Roosh charged him, and they started brawling. CD and security came out and separated them.
Yeah, great brawl, great pull apart. Jon Moxley should take notes. Like, this is better than any Jon Moxley pull apart brawl I've ever seen that I can recall. It was really good, really well done. They both got their licks in after being separated. Interesting to see how that match goes. Because Roosh more or less gets by charisma in brawling and big chops and that kind of thing. And MJF, at his heart of hearts, is really an indie, spotorific, high spot type of guy. So I'm interested to see I'm interested to see the middle ground on this. I'm interested to see how this works.
Then unannounced 4-way match happened between Rey Fenix, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Jay Lethal.
Yep.
I immediately knew who was winning this match before it even got in the ring.
So did I.
I'm like,
because
they have to be more creative.
O'Reilly just lost to Ospreay.
To Ospreay. Right. So you can cross him off. Orange Cassidy's already in something else. And then Jay Lethal's obviously here to get pinned. So I'm like, do it. Just think about it a tad bit more. Like, there could have been tons of people. Like, replace O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy in this.
Look. It didn't bother me because I'm like, I see the match, I'm like, oh, I'm getting my match. Tunnel talks about the special guys thing. This is one of my special matches. Like, Will Ospreay versus Rey Fenix, one of my special matches. So it's like,
we gonna get there. We
so
gonna
like,
get there.
I'm just saying, like, so you might have been like, this is very like transparent. I'm like, for me, I was like, I don't give a damn about transparency. Go Ray, go! please win. So yes, I was elated. So, but it was a fun match. It was a very fun match.
Yeah, fun match. Phoenix wins, and now 9/11 happens, James.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know if we ever said this on air. I don't remember the situation, but I had said, one day I said to you, maybe off air, whatever. I was like, look, one day Will Ospreay and Ray Phoenix will have a pay-per-view match, and like it's gonna be like a lot of these grifters 9/11. Like they're gonna have a match. It's gonna be so absurd. They're gonna have so many crazy high spots. They're gonna carry out so much crazy shit. It's gonna be so like unhinged of a match. You expect 5 stars between both of them, given their how well their skill and style overlap with each other, and how much those two probably respect each other from afar for a long time and watch each other wrestle. And it's like, look, man, this match is a match that like people are going to be like copying shit from 20 years from now. Like it's one of those things, and like people are going to freak the fuck out. Because they freak out with like a lot of the Ospreay all-time matches, and like this is a match could be one of the freakier ones. It's like it could be like a Ricochet Best Super Juniors match. So like it's not just gonna be was that match in Korakuen Hall, or was that match, or was that in Osaka?
Ricochet and Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
I think they were both in Korakuen Hall.
Yeah, like it's not gonna be in Korakuen Hall. It's gonna be on TBS now, or it's gonna be a pay-per-view with 100,000 buys.
I've seen Ray Phoenix versus Will Ospreay. I've seen them at a WrestleMania show in 2017. I saw them wrestle each other. This is going to be for the world to see now.
Yeah, was that what you in that show?
Yeah.
I don't remember it. What show was it? RevPro?
The RevPro show. It was like the 4:00 show.
Okay. For some reason, okay, whatever. Neither here nor there. Yeah, but like, man, they're gonna go fucking nuts. They're gonna go fucking nuts. It's gonna be incredible. And yeah, man, I can't wait to watch it. And like, people are gonna act like this. People are gonna act like this set this fake sport back. It's gonna happen.
Match killed their dog.
Hit dogs will holler. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be
and like
they're gonna be clipping it up, right, saying, "What is this?"
Right. And in 20 years,
they're ready.
I hope they have a 15-part strike evasion sequence. Like have you seen people clip up the Best Super Junior finals between 2019 Ospreay and Shingo?
No, I've never seen.
I've seen people clip it up and be like, "This is shitty wrestling," because there's a sequence where like they evade each other's like strikes, like for probably 30 seconds or whatever else, and like it's like punch gets blocked, ducked, go behind, Irish whip, duck under the clothesline, catch somebody into a German suplex. Ospreay flips to his feet, goes back, hidden blade, duck, hidden blade. Like it's right. People say that's shitty wrestling. I'm like, bro, that's one of the greatest matches of all time. You fucking goofballs. What are you talking about? Like, I hope, just for me, Phoenix, Ospreay, I hope they've been emailing each other.
Google Translate.
Look. You remember how they talked about the WrestleMania match between Macho Man and Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 about how like Macho Man was faxing Steamboat the move, the sequences. I hope that Ospreay has been emailing all this shit to Phoenix, and then he'd be like, and the Phoenix is like, my English is okay, but it's not great. And Edward Hans has been out here translating the whole thing down for him. I can't wait. I've won this match for years. These are two of the most outrageous talents in the history of the business. I can't wait. Like nothing, there is no star rating high enough that could like shock me that when this thing goes the fuck off. Like I'm expecting. Look, what's the over-under for you?
4.5.
4.5? I think that's too low. Like, I'm as excited for this match as I was for Vikingo or Omega. That's how excited I am for this fucking match. Like, I think this is going to be one of the greatest like TV matches of all time. I will be greatly disappointed if I end up with just a great match of the month contender. Like, that's how I feel right now.
They really should go for like.
When else are they going to face each other in a big spot to go out there and have their match?
just go, best match in Dynamite history, like, which is a high fucking bar, by the way. Like, we have seen 5-star matches on Dynamite before, so
I expect this match to be one of them. Start the show at 8:00. I better hear that. I better hear some Sano, Mero, and some fucking horns, and I'm ready to go. Like, do not make me wait an hour and a half for this shit. Bring me the match. Bring the shit out. Bring it out. Pause.
Yeah. Brewhaven had a funny comment. It's going to trigger the Ko-Fi in bio Twitter. That's funny. If niggas write wrestling reviews and love to slap 3 1/4 on some shit, they gonna be furious. I can't wait to upset them. But yeah, from there, I'm very excited for the match. International title next week, presumably, on Will's road to Forbidden Door. After the match, Don Callis and Trent Beretta walked out. As Cassidy was going to get in the ring, Callis handed Trent a chair. Orange Cassidy grabbed a chain and was ready for a duel, but then Chris Statlander stood between them. And then all of a sudden, Stokely said that Stat's going to put her foot so far up Cassidy's ass is going to cough shoe leather. Statlander decked Orange Cassidy before Will Nightingale made the save. And then Statlander and, Stokely bounced. And, she was piggyback riding him out of there.
Yes, that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Statlander got a new theme this week. Pretty hard.
I missed it.
Yeah.
I gotta check back for it. Okay, so it felt like this was a tease for a mixed tag match, right?
It did.
I want to see that match. And I'm of two minds for it. One, I want to see that match, and two, I gotta have Willow stop like saving these white people on the show. She can't have no black friends.
There's an off-air conversation. Where is she from? Long Island, right?
I don't know where she's from. I don't know.
I believe she's from Long Island. So I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know what that means, but I know what it feels like. What she's trying to say, like, what you think her mom looks like. I'm gonna move on. Just move on.
So Chris Jericho arrives at the building. We saw lots of Chris Jericho around this show. I was fucking screaming,
and it was like, hey, you got this much TV time, and he broke it up, and much to the chagrin of people when they kept seeing him pop up. Like, bro, I was looking at Twitter.
He kept popping up like the nigga on Mortal Kombat, like in the corner of the screen.
The last time he showed up, I could hear Lyric yelling at me, enough. And then I saw her tweet how she was sick of this shit. And I started fucking laughing. But yeah, man.
I retweeted that shit with the Tony Montana and Sosa Scarface Money Machine thing.
Because he keep doing great numbers when he show up for these segments. I think he doesn't have another chapter for this. Like whatever the shoe is going to drop on this, it needs to drop soon because I feel like he's already out of funny with this. So he needs to get to wherever he's going to get to. But yeah, he it's very cringe, and he's doing it on purpose. He knows what he's doing.
Yes. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine who pointed out a couple of the aspects of of this gimmick, of what it's supposed to be, and when you see it through that lens, it gets even funnier. Like, because
it's CM Punk, right?
There's that element to it, and then there's like something trying to make its own. Like Brian Keith is the anger translator. For Chris Jericho. He is Luther. The angry translator.
Yeah. So, yeah, he absolutely is. He's like, the one-liners are funny.
Look, there were people, and I asked about this too. I was like, hey man, is this a rib on me? Like, am I supposed to know about this or whatever? And, I was like, it's not me that wants to ask this. People are asking me this. Is this a rib on me? So I asked. But I think some answers and all that.
Oh, boy.
But it had a good chuckle. And he gives pointers to the driver. He said he's had a driver's license for over 35 years. He takes a camera and shows how to properly frame while fucking it up, like on purpose. Yes. And they walk in the building. So from there, Willow was with Renee, and she says she accepts that she lost at Double or Nothing. She congratulated Mercedes on her win. She said she did have her beat, so there is unfinished business down the line. Willow had said Statlander betrayed her friendship when she was at her lowest. Smiles her strength, but after being stabbed in the back, you don't know how dangerous someone could be. Orange Cassidy walked in and gave her a little fist bump. She only had the belt for 6 weeks, but she did a lot with it. So
yes, she did. I mean, hell, she took it to Japan.
Yeah. So CD gets an entrance, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, I mean, look.
So there was
look, Jay. He has become the GM. He's become the babyface GM, while Tony Khan, he's the person that is facing up to Tony Khan, or for Tony Khan, because Tony Khan gets his ass by the Young Bucks. That's basically what it's coming down to. So now we have a good GM and the bad GMs in the Young Bucks.
So I was like, man, we got the long ass promos at the beginning of the show, going right into the video package with Roger Strong. This authority figure show. I was like, what the fuck, man?
No, not only just the authority figure, it's an authority figure power struggle.
Yeah, yep. That only ends usually a couple ways, and we've seen them all. There's
Rich,
not going to be a new thing unveiled.
Rich, I've been saying this ever since the first Dynamite after Revolution. The look of the show, the segments, the video packages, less matches, the booking from week to week in the merit of people having title shots, the part where they brought back the rankings and then threw them out again immediately.
And monthly pay-per-views now.
Monthly pay-per-views, it's a lot of WWE stuff. And don't get me wrong, the shows are good more nice than not, but I like the show better when there was a sense of being able to track the roster positioning from week to week with the rankings. The wins and losses actually mattering. You not, losing a title because you fucking gave up the belt and then you getting the title shot for the top title at the very next pay-per-view. This shit matters. They're letting go of the little things and whatever. They're getting the big things right. So whatever. But if you take care of the little things, you're ultimately going to take care of the big things too. And it was fun when they were taking care of the little things because the big things it made the big things even more impactful.
Yeah, and it made you feel rewarded for the little things or whatever. So it's but now it's just it's so much of a. I think a lot of it, it stems from who's, surrounding them, who's in the room, where are they experienced from, what did they grow up watching, what are they aware of internationally.
And it's not.
I don't think there's a lot of that.
And it's not bad because they still have strong stories, and I think for a lot of people. I think you can make the argument that the stories are more character driven, therefore people actually recognize them as stories compared to this the things that we watch. When we watch Japanese pro wrestling, and we watch early AEW was wins and losses, who you lose to is all the story. People think that's just yada yada details. So yeah, I mean, there's still
NXT was booked like that. You saw the person that was in the semi-main event that won a match, and then you saw the person in the main event that won, and then the next show, those two people were fighting, and then the people that lost, they were facing somebody else, trying to get back over the hump on that, and then people just kind of zigged and zagged,
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is bad. Honestly, they're still doing. This is a WWE show, and this is one of the best WWE shows they've ever, right? It's just, they had their own identity. It's morphed over time. And that's just a part of all of this, right? With an influx of talent, there's so many people. It's more and more spinning plates. It's harder to keep a track of. it hurts you if you are a person that it hurts that there's so much more TV now compared to what it used to be, where it's like you only had to watch 1 2-hour show. And if you want to watch Rampage, it carries over, and then everybody can more or less stays afloat and buffs the records with Dark. But now it's like, nah, there are 5 hours. There are 5 hours now. There are 5 hours. It's harder to keep track of it as a person, if you want to keep this, as a brisk, watch. Now, like, you get lost in the shuffle if you aren't paying attention to 4 hours of wrestling at least now. And that was a struggle when it was WWE. It's a struggle when it's anyone. 4 hours is a lot. It's a lot to ask over 2 shows. It just is.
Yeah. We had ROH champion Mark Briscoe, speaking of small things, defeating Brian Cage to advance to the TNT ladder match at Forbidden Door. We've seen a million ladder matches. No one's going to get pinned here. The ROH champion suddenly wants the TNT belt. I guess, but they had a good match. Yeah.
Look, Jim Ross will say, hey, he's a champion. He gets another belt that doubles the pay window. The money he gets a pay window. I get it.
So this is another good match. Obviously, both these guys, good wrestlers and all that. And then Briscoe ended up winning.
Now look at Dr. Larry.
He said, "Ken, strong job." Or
no. He said, he wants more belts so he can make another fake Triple Crown.
Gotta get him back.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny. So they were showing Takeshita in the crowd during this. They were showing, Jack Perry watching from backstage.
Where do you get those pants from? He's worn those pants before. Where do you get those pants from? The
big Takeshita ones.
Yeah, the big joints.
The same place Drake got them joints.
Those weren't the same ones. They were just baggy.
Nah, Takeshita been rocking them joints for a little minute.
Who has?
He probably got a special shop. Out in Nihon. That his one with the latest wear.
Okay. I guess I might have to look in to see where these Japanese silks coming from.
Yeah,
Something tells me Something tells me Takeshita is not shop. What you say?
I was gonna say Nihonian silks.
Get the fuck out of here. Nihonian silks. Oh my god. All right, man. So what I was gonna say was, like, wherever Takeshita is shopping, he is not shopping at the same spot that Sonata's shopping at. I know Sonata looking at those like uncivilized, shaking his head and see I was uncivilized, and then moves on. But yeah, man.
Would Michael Jordan like Takeshita's pants?
Who say those aren't Michael Jordan's pants? You don't. You cannot be sure that there is not some Japanese symbol for a Jordan logo somewhere on them pants.
Yeah.
Can't be sure.
Have we checked? Have we determined for sure? Seamus Nova Takeshita got peak Japanese streetwear on.
I guess so.
He might.
It can't look. I can't prove him otherwise.
Look, man, we need to switch it up for Takeshita, man. I know on TikTok. I sent you this before, Jay. I don't know if you remember. I heard the Japanese drill music. I've heard it. It exists. It's out there.
Yes, it does.
We need to get Takeshita with the Japanese drill music, and let's remake this character a little bit and give him this push.
Was it the one with the girls and the girl was rapping? Is that the one you talking about?
No, but that also adds to the point. That girl actually was just rapping like Project Pat, so I don't think that was the drill. She rapped like
Project Pat for one. And two, she had the girls like at the pool. It was like a pool party and the girls all twerking. And I was like,
more twerk analysis.
And I was like, hey,
what y'all doing?
Somebody gonna slip a disc because I don't, because none's really, there's not much motion going on, but I see a lot of backs tweaking. That's an L5 that's going out. You
need to send Mina out there, and teach.
Don't start.
I saw the Mina Shirakawa vignette that they're playing, VTR that they're playing for her, and they dropped it on social media. First thing Mina Shirakawa does to open the video is the titty shake immediately. She does the Mina, immediately. And then she starts talking English, and then Mariah May is helping her out with some of the English, and then they're going through the shit, and I thought it was funny.
Oh man, I remember one of the press conferences when I think it was when they were champions. It was Rose Gold, and it was like we shower together. I was like, we go to the bathroom together. I was like, hey, yo, that's crazy. Look,
I don't want to hear nothing about Mariah May in bathrooms.
Look, now I don't know what you mean, Rich. So let's move on. So the thing for me was like, for those that are unaware of the shenanigans that Mina and Mariah getting themselves up to, like this whole love triangle thing with those two and Toni Storm, this is right up they fucking alley from when they was in Stardom. So like, for those that don't know, they are not like acting out of character. This is the character. these two, the character was these two were basically fucking each other when they were a tag team. And now it is brought back to AEW. It is a love triangle, and it basically comes down to who is Mariah going to finally, is she going to finally get the draws from Toni Storm over all this, or is she going to go back to Mina, who's always loved her? It's like,
kind of a good, simple, good story.
It's a good story if it was love instead of lust, but it's flat out just how do I say this?
What's the name of some of these sites?
We need to find. Oh my god!
I feel like they're
the whole story is where is Mariah going to bury her bone? So we can go from there.
I feel like there are some certain websites that would house such activity.
I was trying to move on from that. You want to bring it back up? You're like, nah, James, I'm going to get this joke off, and you were going to have to react to it. Thank you, Rich. Thank you. I acknowledge your joke, okay? Can we please move on?
So, Jack Perry.
Do you want to name some of them?
I'll leave that for the Twitch chat.
Oh God, yeah.
Those savages in there can handle that.
Yeah. Oh my God, what is Ultimate Submission? What is that?
Hold on, huh?
What? Severn Rogan came out the gate hot. What is Ultimate Submission? Hey, yo. All right, man.
I'm not gonna name none of these sites because ain't none of them paying for promotion. So, the only site I'm gonna name is OneLifetimeWorldwide.com.
Brewhaven said Pure Taboo Pro Wrest. Wow. Submission sorority. God damn it. That's a good one because that goes back to that Becky Lynch and Charlotte shit.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Man. Jack Perry said it ain't gonna matter. Basically that Mark Briscoe won because nobody's willing to make a big sacrifice for AEW as him. Said he's destined to win the TNT title no matter what Tony Khan thinks. After that, we have Renee with Hook and Joe backstage. Said it wasn't called as a mentorship. He's immediately interrupted by Tony Nese, Ari Daivari, and Mark Sterling. So they're putting Hook back in the ring with Tony Nese. So you know what this means? More learning required. Carrying. Like...
I did not know Daivari was still around.
Yeah, he's worked backstage for quite a while, actually.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought he was just a talent. I had no idea he was also working backstage. Okay.
Yeah, I think he does agenting, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But yeah, these are all low card guys that I enjoy. There was actually a really good, it was on Collision maybe 2 weeks ago. It was a varsity athletes vignette. Like, this was like one of the best things I've ever, like, style vignettes I've ever seen in the history of the promotion. And it's like, damn, like, do this shit for like do this shit for Osprey or Swerve or somebody like that. Like no offense to these, I love Tony Nese. Like, he's a immediate hire for me anywhere. But yeah, Nese sold out. Joe held Hook back, said we'll handle it whenever we handle it. More learning tree after that. As they walked up on Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, Jericho loudly congratulated Menard for taking over commentary on Rampage, and Parker for his upcoming, for his marriage and his upcoming baby. Says, I'm a father, 3 times. Basically, this thing peaked with Brian Q saying, make sure that child respects Chris Jericho. And, that
was good. That was a great line.
Yeah. After that, Acclaimed and Billy Gunn tried to do their entrance, and Max Caster was about to get started with one of these wiggity whack raps that have declined in quality substantially. And then all of a sudden, the Young Bucks.
And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on. Hey, man, thank you, Young Bucks. Matthew Nicholas, thank you.
Amazing.
Cut
Saving us one verse at a time.
Yeah, cut the shit. Get it off. Take it out of here. Nope, we out of here. We don't want to. And then, so it's a great. It's one, I appreciate that because it's funny. Cut that shit off. And 2, it sets up a match. And the match, I assume, means Billy Gunn got to sit his ass at ringside and not be up on the apron tagging in and out. So sign me up.
This is just more proof, as Frankie Leone is saying, like, are we supposed to boo the EVPs?
I mean, I tweeted out shit like this. When I saw that, I tweeted out, the Young Bucks are heroes. That was a heroic act.
Yeah. So shout out to the Bucks. They said, they asked them if they read the employee handbook, saying you can't insult the EVPs, and he cut the segment. Basically saying, get that shit out there, clear the area out, get them, we got to go on to the next segment and, walk to the back. After that, we did get Swerve. He did respond to MJF briefly. Basically says, you little bitch, I'm going to deal with you later. And he said he had an envelope with the contract for Forbidden Door, told Prince Nana to send it to Ospreay in London, and he'll pay for the shipping. And Swerve said he's going to knock Roger Strong off the mountain tonight, and he brings up the Elite winning Anarchy in Arena. He said, next time there's a team AEW, don't forget the world champion. This was a very strong promo from Swerve.
Yeah, it's almost as if the thing that MJF said at the beginning of the show made no fucking sense.
Like, this was like, oh, this is the man around here.
Yep. And it keeps people's mind on, like, Blood and Guts coming after, what happened with Jack Perry and the rest of the Elite beating up Tony Khan and putting him in a neck brace for the NFL during the duration of the NFL draft. Like, that collision, there was a promo from Swerve where Swerve said, hey, man, y'all putting your hands on a non-wrestler, like, that's a bitch move. And then they, obviously the whole setup was they then hired Christian to, try to take the belt off of, or the Elite hired Christian to try to take the belt off of Swerve. Didn't work. Like, this has been an ongoing story. There's been a thing that's been brewing, on the back burner, and it's going to come to the forefront while all this stuff is going. Like, Swerve has a lot of stuff going on. He had that going on. He had to deal with the patriarchy. He had to deal with dealing with his own faction. Like, he is like carrying all of these storylines and through points for AEW right now in a way that's like harkens back to almost like Moxley's prime run with the AEW title. Like, he, like, as far as narratively carrying the company, like, he's kind of at that level. I don't think people have really peeped that, but, like, that's kind of what's going on, and I'm really enjoying it so far. And can't wait to see, like, once we get, what the future is for, like, Blood and Guts and, like, what that line's going to be. And because, like, I'm still interested to see like when this like shoe falls with Adam Page. I'm still interested in all that shit.
And it's funny that you bring up Moxley because some of the criticism with Swerve, ironically, Swerve will get criticism for things Moxley was praised for, as far as wrestling these opponents on TV week after week after week. He got praised for that. But Swerve,
remember the man's woman match?
Yeah, it's supposed to be this this criticism of Swerve. I wonder what this could be, James.
It's almost because they're unfamiliar with seeing someone that looks like Swerve be champion, so they have nothing to compare it to other than people that were like in a different federation 20 years ago. Yeah. 25 years ago.
Man, yeah, I think he's doing a great job, and as the ratings prove, it was above the trend line for the main event segment this week with Roderick Strong. So it's working.
No, you sure it's not the United Kingdom?
Maybe they wanted to see them niggas stand outside the ring, the kingdom that's out there.
Maybe they thought Adam Cole was going to make an appearance.
Maybe they thought Roddy was going to bring the neck brace back and just come out in the wheelchair. Did
we ever talk about like after the Elite did that to Tony Khan and Roderick tweeted out neck strong? That shit was hilarious.
Yeah. After that, we learned it was going to be title versus title at Forbidden Door, with the TBS champion Mercedes Moné taking on the New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer. We got a video package basically showing the history between them, wrestling each other in the semifinals of that tournament. The same night that she got hurt against Willow.
Yep.
I'm very excited about this match. I think this is going to be fun.
Have you watched her wrestle before?
No, I didn't see that match.
She's very good. I didn't see that match either, but I saw her match when she defended against Mazumi a couple months ago. She's very good. She's very good. There's no reason why they can't have a great match. She's very good. Moves around the ring very well. Really, strong striker. She's good. She could be a feature act in Stardom. She's that. I'm not a main eventer, but she could definitely hold her own in Stardom. I would love to see her in Stardom.
So we about to get kind of good. We about to see 2-belt Mercedes here,
yeah, and we're gonna put her on for Netzer of the Year because she got paid a grip from New Japan Pro Wrestling to be in Stardom and in New Japan and beat Stardom wrestlers while in New Japan, and they created a belt for her, and then she lost that belt to a person that was getting a movie made for them, and then they made another belt for her, and then she would have continued doing that until she got hurt, and then she then proceeded to take them checks and then sign on AEW, and she's guaranteed to now end up with that belt while not being in that company, but has a partnership with that company. So yeah, for Netzer of the Year candidate incoming. Yeah, absolutely,
it's gonna be pretty funny.
Look, and it's gonna be so funny because Rich, you look on the WWE side and you see Rhea's hurt, and you see how long she's out for. And
Liv Morgan's entire title reign seems to be about Dom Mysterio.
Oh, I wasn't even gonna get to that part, but she's too late to even catch up in this. But that particular cutoff date for PWI 150. Right now, WWE's best bet would be for Bayley to win it, and it's gonna be awfully hilarious when Mercedes steals that shit right from underneath Bayley, while she got the WrestleMania great match.
I think Tony's gonna get it.
I don't think so.
Just because Tony's had a belt forever.
She's had the belt forever, but somebody's gonna have a 2-belt reign, and I think
she'll be number 2.
I don't think they're gonna drop some. I don't think they'll drop. Well,
then again, there might be an activity.
I think Rhea. I think Rhea still might finish in front of Bayley, even if the activity thing. So yeah, because there's so much. She still runs so much in the year, over half the year. Yeah, I think it's in play. All I'm saying is I think it's in play, and it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny to see how people react to that. Whether Bayley ends up in front of Sasha or in front of Mercedes, or not, or Mercedes ends up in front, or if Tony, or if it's Rhea again, back-to-back years, it's gonna be nasty, and it's gonna be that's funny. Any of them have better matches than Mayu this year? Or Suri? No? Oh, okay. Never mind. Japan don't count. I forgot. My bad. My bad.
Got the 8-man tag between the BCC and CMLL guys of Volador Jr., Esfinge, Magnus, and Rugito. Wheeler Yuta returned, got the win on, I believe he pinned Esfinge, I think. But
match was fun as fuck. The problem is, I need the CMLL guys to get a win over BCC, and if they can't get a win over Wheeler Yuta, the pin eater of the faction, then what are we doing come
Rugito he pinned, okay.
Yeah, what are we doing come Forbidden Door? Like, is it like a situation where like they get their big win at Forbidden Door? Presumably they pin
I don't see that happening. Like, whoever Mizuko fights, he's probably going to win. Like,
okay,
but
I didn't know if they're going to do a situation where like it's going to be a faction match, because like I don't see where BCC is moving. Well, actually, I take it back, because BCC or Moxley is going to be facing Naito and probably do a job there. But like, you know, if it's going to be like Danielson, Claudio, and Yuta, I can see Yuta taking the pin there. I can see that.
Just do Danielson and Mizuko, or no, Danielson can't do no more losses.
Right, because they're building him up again. Because he cut that promo saying like, "Hey, I'm trying to get one big last run," so I imagine he's going to win that one this year. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, we let me see where that is listed. I don't know if that's later in the review. Oh yeah, it's later on. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
But after that, really great match here with all these guys. I love seeing Volador Jr.
Yep,
he's awesome. He's been awesome for years.
Yep. It's crazy how he still runs ropes that well. Like I see him wrestle maybe like once a year. I'm just like, how the fuck do you still move like this? Like last year when I was watching him versus like Rocky, I was like, how the fuck does he still move like this?
Mm-hmm. So from there, we saw more Chris Jericho.
I think this is the part when Lick was like, I've had enough of this shit.
He approached somebody in catering and basically helped him with a proper way to scoop food into a bowl due to his experience.
Off the bowl too.
It was amazing.
Nasty little work,
bro. Yeah, man. My special guy, Chris Jericho, doing his thing. After that, we got a Daniel Garcia video package documenting his car accident a couple years ago. He basically said life is too short to let opportunities pass you by. That's why he took the initiative in challenging Will Ospreay for the international title. He said he can't outgrind and outwork Garcia. Sounded like he was, wanting to get endorsed by One Lifetime, James. That's what it sounded like.
Were you interested?
Yeah, man. If you want to put the logo on, I'll take the promo.
Now, you know who the kind of circles he runs in. Like, do you put the logo on the do-rag to ensure that Isaiah Cassidy puts it on Daniel Garcia?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's not just one logo. It's gonna be like how it had like the Gucci one. So it's gonna be just a bunch of them
all over. Okay, small. Okay,
all over. Cameron's being caught up with.
Speaking of that logo, have you thought about possibly making Karrion Kross a member of? Given that is an hourglass, have you thought that maybe have you thought of maybe potentially put Karrion Kross?
As a matter of fact, that has never crossed my mind once.
Karrion Kross, a One Lifetime sponsored athlete.
As a matter of fact, not once in the history.
Well, I think you're missing the boat. It's some synergy there, man. It's some synergy.
Look, maybe I can steal. I can get what's her name holding the hourglass or whatever and get it digitally imposed, as they say.
Scarlet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it digitally imposed, as T.I. would say, and holding it, whatever. Whatever one of y'all little meme artists want to do that.
Better talk to Zach.
Drop it into Discord. But the Acclaim were trying to jump into the Elite's locker room. Security said, get y'all ass back.
Yeah.
Said you're going to have to deal with us at some point. They call the bus jackasses. They walk off. Bucks brought in the patriarchy, basically. Christian said if there's anyone he could trust in making things right, it's the EVPs. He said the patriarchy deserves to have gold, and they want another title shot. Matt agreed, said they all deserve gold, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, because they said, like, look, we tried to do it for Jack, but we get screwed with by the evil Tony Khan and Christopher Daniels.
Said they continue to scratch their back. They'll scratch. It looked like there was some kind of uneasiness here. Commenters. Yes. It looked like there was some kind of uneasiness between Christian Cage and the EVPs. How much longer are they going to avoid putting Jack and Christian on screen together? I need to know. Like Mark Anthony, I need to know.
Look, I'm with you. Remember when he came back and he was scapegoat shit, I was like, hey, he need to come back and be like, you know what? You were right. Are you right about everything, Christian? They just become evil friends again.
I want them to just look at each other and be like, like, yeah. They don't even need to say any words.
I mean, all it takes is, you know what? You were right, Christian. That's all it takes for them to be, when this works, because they're all evil now. Yeah.
Everyone fucking sucks. Like,
yeah. Hey, put Luchasaurus Jungle back together as evil tag team. It's Scapegoat and Kill Switch. Run it.
Oh my god, they would rule.
I know. That's why you this would have happened like 2 years ago in AEW. They would have squared that circle while this all happening and been like, we can get all this together. We put all these mini factions together, and we tied it to the Christian and Jungle Boy and their fallout from when that happened. And we're saying, like, you know what? Ultimately, Christian was right. So let's all be evil together. Yeah. There's still time for that. Funny. I'm hoping that it happens.
That'd be funny. Yeah. Their tags.
Give Jungle Boy and the Elite a heavy.
Oh, man. He's going to call Christian dad. Oh, my God. Sick.
I ain't saying all that.
Sick.
I mean, but it could be a nice setup of, like, you know, when I've talked about, like, I want to see, like, a fallout of, you know, the Jericho Appreciation Society between, like, Guevara and Garcia over, like, who's the stronger disciple of Jericho is, like, all right, Nick Wayne and Jungle Boy, I need y'all around Christian, and they'd be like,
fight to the death.
Yeah, it's like Dick Grayson and Jason Todd arguing over, like, who's the real Robin, who's the Robin that Batman loves the most, like that kind of thing. It's like, hey,
that's my dad,
right? Like he was my dad. Who was your dad? Well, he likes me more. How about that? Run it.
That should be funny as shit.
Yeah.
Mariah May versus Saraya. Wow.
Why is Mariah May losing to Saraya at this stage of the game, given where we are with the storyline between Mina and Mariah and Tony, and given where we are in the calendar and what could potentially be a Mariah May challenges Tony Storm at Wembley? Why?
They seem to have. I had a lot of those same questions when this first happened. Kind of solved itself later. Yeah, solved itself later in the week. Basically, when they enter Mariah in the Owen tournament, I got a feeling.
Oh, she can lose, so she can just go ahead and go on a win streak, and then we can forget that. When we can get that, ignore that match, and then or maybe Mariah gets to win back in the tournament or after tournament. That thing.
Yeah. I think she's gonna beat her in the tournament.
Maybe just not have her lose to Saraya. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. But you know, they pay Saraya a lot of money, I imagine.
Yeah, they pay her a lot of money. They don't use her. So what's the point of? So what difference does it make?
I think if you're Saraya, you look at across the ring, Mariah May, you got to be fucking freaked out, don't you? Like, yo, she's 10 years younger than me. She's British. She's way fucking better than me as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Obviously, what she looks like it's like, hey man, the game has passed me by.
And you'd be like, he made the argument like she did the anti-diva thing that was got her level of popularity, and like Mariah looks like a stereotypical diva, but except she's actually a really good wrestler, or a good wrestler. Therefore, like she'd be able to show and prove that she bypass her look that people hold against her because there's stereotypical look that people thought was shitty wrestling. Yeah, I get it.
it's kind of got to freak her out.
I kind of think is you reap what you sow. It's like, oh, you think that people don't like that, or you know, you judge a book by their cover, and actually like, no, underneath after like the opening page, like, this is a pretty good book. You're just you know, sometimes you got to learn those lessons.
I believe she tapped out to her to put her in that Scorpion crosslock or whatever. I was like, all right.
Yep. All goes full circle back to this submissions sorority.
Mina Shirakawa then hit the ring after Saraya and Harley Cameron were, you know, jumping on them. And, you know, before, you know, she cleared it out. She comforted Mariah. Then her and Toni Storm had a face off. Mariah stepped in as, you know, trying to be peacemaker, putting, you know, both women's heads in the bosom.
Yes, she pacified them.
You know, as the match graphic then is right there, you know, underneath. Like, for Storm, Shirakawa, women's title, be there. Like, and they had a tug of war, and they were trying to place Mariah's head to their chest. Taz wanted to know what the hell is going on. Yeah. So,
did anyone answer them, or were they too busy trying to hide their erection on air?
Rhetorical.
Okay.
The learning tree came back once again. For the fourth time on you niggas.
Oh my god. I forgot it was 4 times. I thought it was 3. All right, yeah, go ahead.
Comment section saying Mina and Deeb main event at Rampage, and it was pretty solid.
Okay.
Learning Tree went up to private party and said, hey, maybe y'all should change your name to Public Party and open up the party to more people. Brian Keith said, y'all disrespecting Jericho. Said, next week we inviting y'all to TV time with the Learning Tree. Then we got Bryan Danielson cutting a promo, looking directly in the camera, putting over Wheeler Yuta, winning the match for his team. He said he couldn't be any prouder. He said 8 months ago, he said this was his final year as a full-time wrestler. And to be honest, it hasn't been what he wanted. He lost to Christian Cage. He lost in the finals of the Continental Classic, lost to Okada in the Tokyo Dome. Every big match he loses, as a straw that finally broke the camel's back, was losing to Anarchy in the arena. He said his career is not over yet. So when Tony Khan announced the Owen Hart tournament, winner gets an AEW World Title shot at All In. If it could be his last shot, he's going out. He's going out on top. So calling a shot. I think y'all should pay attention. He's done a lot of losses. Pay attention.
You know, I'm kind of in a similar spot to like 11 years ago, where it's like, hey man, he's facing John Cena at WrestleMania, or sorry, at SummerSlam. All right, I had to see Cena's shoulders pinned to the mat for you to believe it that he's gonna be the champion. I gotta see it. Like, I'm sorry, like he could be champion. He could have been champion anytime he wanted to. Talking about right now with Danielson, or the last few years with Danielson, he's been, you know, one of the elite wrestlers in the world since he showed up in AEW. Incredible. The only thing that's been holding him back from being that is like the stupid injuries here and there. But the genius of him is he's been able to work around those and work those into his storytelling of his matches.
Yeah, I think he's left something to be desired character wise, and you know, largely the BCC have been like this gray area group.
I think ever since Moxley got downcycled, that's this. Yeah, I agree with that.
But in the ring, obviously the nigga's lights out. So like, so like if he can like tap back into, you know, the great babyface that he knows how to be, it's going to be interesting. You know, if you know, things stay, you know, as you know, obviously they had Ospreay beat him, you know, at Dynasty. Where's the champion now? And these guys are facing each other at, you know, the Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
So either one of those, you know, are matches where it's like, okay, there's still good guys in all these guys in scenarios. So it's like, does someone turn? Does someone modify who they are a little bit? I don't know. Like it would be interesting. I know a lot of people talk about Hangman Page, but I don't know. I don't see it going that way.
I mean, whenever he shows up, sign me up for more Swerve and Hangman.
Yeah. So, I imagine Swerve calling out the Elite. You know, there's like somebody's eventually going to show up that's like a ghost.
Right.
I would think
that's what I'm really hoping for is during all of this stuff for Bud and Gus, like Hangman comes back and he's with the Elite. Because while I may be mad that my friend suspended me, I fucking hate Swerve, and I said I'd rather die than let him become champion, and I wasn't even around to stop it from happening because I was suspended.
Speaking of Swerve then defeated Roderick Strong in the main event to retain the world belt. Another big win for Swerve. He's been on fire pretty much in the ring with all these matches, cutting the promos and being this consistent presence everywhere. And I think, like, you know, there's a lot of cap about his title reign, I think, that I need to take the time to dispel.
Well, I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's regardless of how well it's being done right now, they announced that Ospreay match. So they're talking because they think that Ospreay is going to win. But if Swerve were to beat Ospreay, we're done.
They got to eat all the shit. Over. They got to cry. One segment of people has to cry. The other segment of people has to come outside and come to my timeline and then get told how much they have no idea about wrestling. Tell them how much they're trying to uphold white supremacy on the low. How they are coming out here and acting like, yeah, you know, they're just trying to hold everything against Swerve for whatever reason it is. Whatever I'm just going to fucking say it. Whatever the black fedge grifter Twitter people want to hold against Swerve, he's stomping all of them out. Look, how can I unfortunately I can't make myself center screen right here. I don't want James to get none of this. This is me, Rich Latta. Y'all motherfuckers coming out here talking all this shit, bringing up whoever you want in whatever company as far as people in WWE that are doing their thing or whatever. All they're trying to do is trip Swerve up from before he got the belt to when he got the belt, the night it happened. And then motherfuckers just see every one of their arguments just falling by the wayside. I can't fucking wait to watch motherfuckers' reactions. The more Swerve does shit, like go on Busted Open Radio and completely expose Bully Ray and Mark Henry, like for
not watching the show. What about all this stuff that they presented me with and shown me, and then they shut up? Yeah, I saw that clip. That's funny. Yeah,
like as long as he comes out here and I'm seeing motherfuckers put out tweets like, hey, Ricochet can go to AEW and we can finally put the world title on a black man. From a black person that said this.
Yikes.
That claims he is a rapper as well. So, like, buddy, I've resisted retweeting the tweet all weekend. Let's just say that. And being like, whatever you want to do, buddy. Like, one, this is an atrocious opinion, for one.
my whole thing is like, if your thing is Swerve is not black, but the person you're using to uplift is Ricochet that says the things he says online, I'm kind of not gonna care what you got to say at all because it holds no merit. Like, first off, question someone's blackness is fucking ridiculous, and two, the counterfactual you're using, like. You realize you fucked up, right? Like, what are you doing?
He got thoroughly smoked.
Of course,
on Twitter, the gentleman that sent such atrocious tweet. And I don't know. I just think it's a lot of people crying that Ricky Starks isn't the guy that got picked. A lot of crying that that anybody else that they thought was going to be the pick wasn't, and it was him. He came out there involved.
My question is, why are they working on the assumption that like there's only ever going to be one? Don't you think that's weird?
Because they only want there to be one, and they want it to fail for confirmation bias. They're not interested in actually seeing what's going to happen, seeing the presentation, seeing the work put into the care that was taken to dissolve his faction, to set up an overarching storyline for the guy, to set up great opponents to line him up with, to set up quality pay-per-view defenses. Like, this guy is having one of the best title reigns. Like, he's had the belt for like a month and a half, right? He's already going crazy with it. And then when he wrestles Ospreay, he's going to go more crazy. Right. And then he's still dangling the elite carrot out there. What do you think that is? That sounds like blood and guts.
Right. Yeah.
I think.
And you know, we just talked about is like, if Danks is going to cut that kind of promo and he wins the Owen.
What's that tell you?
Yeah.
What show is he going to main event?
That would be Wembley.
Then they all got to shut the fuck up.
Granted. That could be a setup for Danielson versus Ospreay 2 at Wembley, but I either one I'm winning, but like you know, either way we're setting up. It seems like we're setting up awesome stuff with the championship scene, regardless. And the person with the belt right now is Swerve, and he's done awesome with it.
And you're talking about somebody that would have been, let's say, Forbidden Door comes, Will Ospreay wins the AEW championship, right? Mm-hmm. And then Swerve drops off and goes and wrestles against the Elite after that, with Hangman coming back and stuff like that. You have still established somebody as a main eventer. You've established somebody that can main event a pay-per-view for you. You've established somebody that can carry the belt week to week and have all this stuff inside of him.
Can be a champion for a second time.
Correct. That was what the next hour going to do. And that's only if he loses. Now, if he wins, get ready for the summer of Swerve, my nigga. That's it.
I think so many people just assume it's a foregone conclusion. I think that's what it is. And we'll see. And either way, I expect Swerve's, well, his best regular match doesn't involve blood porn, but but I expect an incredible match because Will Ospreay and Swerve, and you know, they're gonna break out some incredibly intricate stuff that like only those two would even try to pull off. Like, Swerve's been in his bag with some of the stuff he's tried to pull off, and like he's like, all right, man, like this is. You put a lot of thought into this, and like and by thought I mean like something's real cool. I don't know how much it works as far as like the physics. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how smooth that move he's gonna do, or the double stomp deal with Cesaro was gonna work out with he was gonna go with double stomp, and then like it wasn't going to move Claudio's center of mass off to where he couldn't hit him with the uppercut. Like, whatever, man. They out there trying cool shit, and so I expect them to also, you know, tear it up. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
This all ended with like a hot closing sequence where Swerve basically sidesteps a house call, but then Swerve, you know, gives him the pump knee. Hits the house call for the win.
Yeah,
they throw the graphic on stage.
Because early in the match, Swerve had went to work on the knee. And Roddy, once he dodged one time, couldn't move again.
And then my favorite part of the night, Swerve goes over there with the grandma in the front row, and the grandma starts hitting the dance, you know, on you boys. That's right, the grandmothers. That's who we need watching wrestling. We need more grandmothers in the front row. I saw that. I was like, add more time to the reign.
Did you mention Swerve's AEW World Title grill that he had in?
I didn't. That is pretty dope. I saw it and I was like, is that what I think it is? Like,
I never would have thought of that. That was crazy.
That's crazy. Like, I've never seen no shit like that. So it's like, you can't compare Swerve to anyone. Like, he is expressing himself as a champion. Like, unlike a lot of people, like, obviously anybody in AEW championship history, but how about y'all start taking it through WWE history?
Major American
What champion you seen walking around with a grill in of the belt?
Yeah. Don't recall too many top champions in American Pro Wrestling history with golds.
Also, that same clown that said that shit about Swerve is one of those Cody is black people. Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's wow.
But yeah, man. I sometimes, I let this shit build up that I see or whatever, and then I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just let it off or whatever. But Twitter's Twitter. You obviously your phone will be going off all day. It's a lot, especially when you have like an account that gets as like active as mine. But yeah, there's just I think there's a lot of corny sounding motherfuckers out there that are just haters flat out. Like, and I don't know, and there's gonna be haters. Everybody can't love you or whatever. I understand that, but come at it with like some semblance of responsibility. Like, people just saying whatever on the app. I know the rent be due. Look, I know the rent be due and shit like that, and motherfuckers gotta justify that $8 that they spend. That they gave Elon their information for. But these are humans. They see these things. So like this shit is fucked up. Like, to talk about, like we talked about with Caitlin Clark, how people don't treat her like she's a human. Like, this is fucked up, and I think it should stop. But people are going to be who they are, unfortunately, because Twitter was set up for such things to drive, and especially like the way it's changed, the negativity just amplifies way more, and then encourages it.
There's number of negativity and like links to porn. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, stop. The bots need to stop with the pussy in bio thing. That's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's crazy.
Bro, they don't even do that no more. They just send pictures of it to you now. Just like,
I luckily have not been sent some stranger's pussy in replies to my stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been fortunate to avoid that. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. I think I got it all off my chest here. So, but yeah, that was AEW. Up and down show. Decent show. A couple matches I like, but like some of it, like the stuff we talked about as far as like
the formatting,
the framing and formatting of this show, and like it's bringing us to an unpleasant place. But I think the wrestlers are so fucking good. They're gonna outdo it essentially.
I mean, it's been around for so long at this point where it's like, this is the thing where it's like, people talked about AEW has to do X, Y, and Z to grow, and casual fan this, casual fan that, and it's like, this is overwhelmingly shown that, like, all right, we've been in a period now through 2 pay-per-views of them doing this, and I don't think the ratings have like improved over this amount of time with these stories even being more character driven, with the formatting of the show, with the video packages, informing people that have been watching who the fuck these people are. The ratings are basically still the same. So like I said, when it first started happening, after the first couple weeks, it's like, all right, we're gonna check back, we're gonna check in and see if these changes to this show have improved the ratings. They haven't. Oh, let's continue, I guess. Let's continue, like, leaving their identity to look more like what the market leader looks like. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, but trying to think, is there anything else that we need to bring to the table? Ricochet did get jumped out of WWE by Braun Breaker, I believe.
Okay.
So besides that, I think that's it, man.
All right. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this. If you are watching from the stream, go to the show notes when the podcast is up and go to the link to RareSoak and you can donate there. If you're listening to the podcast, obviously, go to the show description, go to the RareSoak link. Just like I said, click on it, throw you boys some cash.
Buy a shirt, buy a hat.
Yeah. And look, we ain't going to do that shit. We were talking about Sexy Red earlier. We ain't doing none of that, but appreciate the money. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. Got Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, MCW Adventure, Wrestle Hour with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all, and I cannot wait for Tunnel Talk to see the clips of this, because they're gonna be mad. And it's like, I'm not even really doing anything. It was best friends weekend, and like, I got Trent and Stat up here because they're still the best friends. They're keeping it in the spirit. They're bad guys now. That's not good enough. No, whatever. Bye, later, y'all.